welcome to the finals of the Australian Open 2026. If you remember, we have already seen one game of the tournament on my channel, and it was round 2 when I played against Peter, and when we did a double recording, and at the end we said if we should meet again in the finals, then we can maybe repeat it. And yeah, here we are. I'm in the finals. Peter is again in the finals, and so he is also again a guest on the channel, and you can also see his perspective of the game on his channel. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you very much. I mean, I couldn't waste this opportunity of getting into the final with you and making another video, so I figured, might as well go there.
Yeah, that would indeed have been a waste. And yeah, but we have some tough opponents here. When we take a look at the clicker rating, the 4 players that are on the play in the finals are from rank 6 to 26 in the clicker rating, in the overall rating. So yeah, obviously some very good players made it there. PV4 and Barbucha are playing in the finals as well. PV4 being at the 19th position in the ranking. You are at the 23rd position, Barbucha at the 26th position. So yeah, some very strong players, and I think some of them we also already faced in the previous rounds.
Do you remember last time when we recorded, I just got my last Glico rating, and then I got into like 70, I think, and then I said like, oh yeah, now Weidenbaum wants to uh, collaborate with me because I'm finally in the top 100, and just a little while later, I'm 23. So
No,
nice
so you're still
progress. Nice
still
progress.
climbing, and when we take a look at your estimated rating, you're actually a bit higher than PV4. So let's see
Whoa,
when
that's
we get
crazy
some more
actually.
games going. Maybe you can again do a bit of a climb,
I've played
and
PV4 now a few times, but he's very strong. He decimated
definitely,
me a few times.
yeah, definitely. And yeah, I already participated also in the years before relatively often in the tournament, but I never have made it to the finals. And the nice thing in this tournament is that if you win it, you get a nice trophy sent to you by Diogenes, the organizer. So that's of course now a great opportunity to maybe get a nice trophy that you can present somewhere in your apartment, and showing that you are great at a board game. um, and yeah. And yeah, I think with that short introduction, we can maybe start with taking a look at the game. I will pause the recording for a moment, and then we can continue with yeah, seeing how this final of the Australian Open went. All right, here we are on the game. Barbucha is playing in first position, PV4 in second. I'm playing in third, and you are playing in the infamous fourth position.
I love
And
fourth. I was already tilted when I saw it.
yeah, it can be quite tricky in 4-player games. And yeah, maybe to start, we can take a look at leaders and wonders. Is there anything very special that you notice when you take a
Yes,
look at this particular mix?
Machu Picchu.
All right, that's true. That's one of your favorites.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things actually, but yeah, Bill Gates, Ocean Liner, Machu Picchu, Barbarossa, mm, just to name a few. There's a lot of things here.
Yeah. So yeah,
Michelangelo, maybe.
Michelangelo can definitely also be quite a powerhouse, both Nobel Newton in H2, maybe to set up for Bill Gates and Sid Meier Spaceflight Manhattan Project. So I think the science notch is maybe a little bit um, especially there, but also Marlene, Chaplin, Bach, Hollywood, Shakespeare. But of course, in 4-player games, that kind of stuff is a bit more difficult to pull off. And not a lot of military action leaders, none in H1 and only Catherine in H2. Yeah, so that's the leaders and wonders mix, and we can start with taking a look at the game. Barbucha just takes the pyramids. Yeah, that's the only wonder on the row actually, and a very strong one. So I guess that is a good pick, but it leaves PV4 also with quite a strong pick because he can take the engineering genius together with the leader, in that case Aristotle. So yeah, two strong opening picks. At my turn, I can go for a relatively strong lead. It was mainly the choice for me whether I want to go for Boudica plus stockpile or whether I just want to go for Hammurabi. And Hammurabi is, of course, really, really strong, but if you're playing third or fourth position, maybe it can be a bit tricky with his downside of drawing fewer military cards. Maybe you can be a bit more vulnerable. And Boudica, I think, is also just really, really strong for player games, and I can take her together with the stockpile. And the thing is also, there's no wonder on the row yet, and so in case I don't have a wonder to take for one civil action, I can then just play the stockpile immediately at my next turn, and then that just allows me to spend my last civil action somewhat nicely. And in case I want to keep it in hand, maybe, who knows, there could be a case even that the Silk Road is coming. So I took Boudica stockpile, which also makes it a bit annoying for you, because if you want to take Hammurabi, there's no yellow card left for you on the first row, and I thought maybe that could be a bit annoying for you.
No, it
And
was
so I
annoying
went
for
with.
me. Yeah, no, I already thought I was player four, and then like I get like I mean I said like I'm getting griefed already. Like I can only take a Hammurabi here. Oh man, I mean I can also take Ashoka plus the yellow when you're like player four. I like Ashoka, but then I still need to take a wonder, and they're like none in a row. So I'm like very low on CA. So I thought okay, I need Hammurabi to actually be able to take like a wonder and do more stuff, and at least like no one has like an aggressive leader or wonder, so I didn't expect too much strength push necessarily, but of course can always happen. Also in the leader wonder mix, there is almost like nothing. There's like no Great Wall, there's like no Ziska, so only really like Barbarossa that I would be scared of for a strength push. So yeah, wasn't so afraid with the Hammurabi, but I didn't like that I have to spend like 4 CA on it. Like what the heck.
Yeah, no, I think compared to the other first picks, it's not really the greatest one for you. And yeah, Barbucha then takes Ashoka, maybe not the greatest in first position, but generally synergizes quite well with the pyramids, so he just goes for a relatively standard turn. PV4 goes for Aristotle, builds a mine, increases population, is not willing to spend 2 civil actions to, for example, take the library, as there are a lot of wonders actually coming down the row. And that's also what is it's the same for me at my turn. I elect Boudica, I build a mine. I thought about if maybe I should go for one of those wonders now for 2 civil actions, but I just felt like I should at my next turn either get Library, Rome Roads, or Stonehenge, or the Colosseum. And the Colosseum in 4-player games, I think, is also not really that bad. So I think I should just get a fine wonder for 1 civil action at my next turn. With that, I just rather increased my population and already played the stockpile to be ready to take one of those wonders at the next turn.
Yeah, this Colosseum actually has a lot of synergy with the Columbus, Barbarossa, Nostradamus, with Eleanor. It's actually, and like you said, no military leaders at all, no Ziska, no anything. So it's
Yeah,
actually
that's
like one of
true.
the sickest Colosseums I've seen. But I still like
That's
the
true.
other ones more.
Yeah, but Mix really supports the Colosseum here. That's true. All right, and what were your considerations at your turn?
Yeah, of course. I mean, automatic would be maybe take library, it's on 1 CA less, but if I do that, then basically I can take a rich land or a frugality, which is not nothing. It's like a rock or a food, although you don't know when you're gonna use the rich land. But yeah, this was a kind of a little bit of a fourth position move where I thought that the Roman Road is a little bit more of a fighting wonder, and I do have Hammurabi for the civil actions, and I thought that I'm player four, so if people will cede, then I can also get the 2 rocks pretty easily and just finish it, and then use nice amount of civil actions with Hammurabi again. But yeah, mostly because it was also I'm player four and uh, getting the extra rock and the extra population helps a bit more if I like already greeted the Hammurabi quote unquote, and the library doesn't actually do anything in the short term.
Yeah, and if you take the library, you also can only just take Frugality A or Richland A, which is a bit of
Exactly.
value, but yeah, I
If
think
it was a
it's
real
fine.
card, then of course it's different. But yeah, it's just 1 rock, which yeah, again, it's not nothing, but it's not that much. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's fine to go for the Rome roads. I think it would also be fine to go for the library, but
Yeah.
the Rome roads has some advantages here. Then Barbucha builds the second lab and takes the iron for 3. If he still gets a bit lucky and maybe the right development is revealed, he can already go for it at the next turn. PV4 will then go for the library, builds the step.
Actually, I could also maybe go for the pyramid 1 step, then you have like the food. Like but yeah, like then you have the population out still, and then you can like build the pyramids right away. It's could also be a move maybe.
Yeah, that could also be a consideration, always something to think about if you just want to rush the pyramids. But then again, if you invest into iron, it's sometimes you are a bit low in science if you go for iron first, and then the second lab would be delayed even further. So
Mm.
um, I think it's maybe fine, but with Ashoka especially, it could also be, I think, quite strong to go for the pyramids
Yeah,
first.
yeah, exactly.
All right, PV4 goes for building 2 steps of the library, taking the urban growth. Isn't building the second lab yet, maybe just wants to play it more civil action efficiently, also leaves him with a 3 population. And at my turn, first of all, I was very happy about my first 2 draws from H1. I have a tactic, the Legion tactic, and I got a very, very early open borders agreement. So that's, of course, one of the best cards that you can draw that early. And now the question is, which player do I offer it to? You have Hammurabi, so
Yeah.
I mean, you had a bit of rough start, but still you have Rome Roads plus Hammurabi. It's still a very decent combination. I think the benefits for Hammurabi are just too big. And then it was a bit between offering it to Barbucha or PV4. And Barbucha got this early iron. It can potentially be quite strong. Early iron into pyramids. Maybe you could go for Michelangelo. But on the other hand, PV4 had Engineering Genius plus Library plus Aristotle. But with the library, he will be able to at least keep an additional cards already in hand anyway. So I felt maybe the benefits of the Open Borders Agreement are a little bit less good for him than for Barbucha. And so at the end, it was PV4 who I offered a pack to.
Now, do you ever think about this open border synergy with Leaders and Wonders? Like, I think if someone picks a Colosseum, he so often gets a fourth MA just from someone giving an open border. And whenever you pick Hammurabi, you're never getting the open border. And it's actually pretty relevant, I think.
Yeah, I do think that's it's something that is maybe yeah a hidden advantage or disadvantage of some leaders and wonders. So yeah, it's definitely if you're Hammurabi, you will very rarely get the open borders agreement offered. And yeah, if, as you said, if you have the Colosseum, the chances increases quite a bit. So that's certainly something to think about because at some point a player will draw this pact, and
Yeah,
it can definitely influence which one it gets offered to.
in 4P, and then there's so much synergy in this, like we said, with the Colosseum. That's actually kind of sick to just pick the Colosseum and you get like 2 MA very, very often. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
it's really cool actually.
yeah,
Yeah, this hidden value.
yeah, definitely an interesting to think about that. But now I actually have drawn it and offered it to, so now I don't need to take the Colosseum any longer,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
rather just went for the Stonehenge. I think it can still be fine to go for the Colosseum, but I think here I then like the Stonehenge a bit more. I take the breakthrough and I build the first step of the Stonehenge, not going into consumption yet, and being able to increase my population twice at the next turn, which could also help me to get out of corruption. And if I wouldn't have drawn the pact, I might have also considered a warfare together with the Stonehenge, but I think now I was willing to just pass it and rather just take the breakthrough for one civil action.
Yeah. Well, I was unhappy that no one wants the seed, and I don't know. Every single turn, I'm just unhappy. Like Hammurabi, and then I mean, okay, the Rome Road was fine, but it did cost me 2 CA, and then like the open borders come out, and I'm like, okay, not no open borders for me, and then no one is seeding, so I'm not be able to finish this Roman roads quickly, and so yeah, I already felt target, even though I'm not. But yeah, in my turn, yeah, I thought, okay, there is Barbarossa, there is Machu Picchu, and there is ocean liner service, and yeah, those are the 3 big synergies with irrigation. So I thought this irrigation is pretty cool actually. And then there's also Richland and alchemy. Um, yeah, and I still make the thing, and I was like, okay, I got one food if no one wants to seed. Then I get the one food if someone wants to seed. Then at least maybe I can finally finish my Roman road. So happy either way.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, having the option to go into alchemy the next turn, I think is definitely not bad. And as you said, irrigation, also quite some synergies there. All right. Babucha increases population, takes the bread and circuses, the urban growth, so has the full Ashoka bonus now. There was no development revealed at all, so no signs for the iron, and he just starts working on the pyramids now. PV4 finishes the library, builds the second lab, takes the monarchy, scoring the first science with Aristotle, and then also takes the rich land. And now at my turn, I actually take a science from Boudica. The turn before, I think I took a resource because of
Yes,
having great
I
things in
noticed
hand.
this. I clicked every time because I was like, I don't think you're supposed to take any science anymore, but you take like one time one science, yeah, and the rest you just took rocks.
Yeah, and this turn I take some science because then I can actually increase my population twice, which is enough to get me out of corruption.
Yeah, I
Because there
noticed
are some
that.
cards
Yeah,
that are interesting to take. There is an iron for 2 civil actions, and I think with having that much science, the iron for me would be the better thing to get than the alchemy. The thing is, the alchemy is available for civil action cheaper, and then with the remaining civil action, I can pick the swordsman. I have a legion tactic in hand. With Boudica, I think it's especially important to maybe have a military tech available to use additional resources more efficiently if I should get them at some point. And in general, I think it's just important to have something to upgrade into, and I'm still happy upgrading into alchemy, even though, of course, I might not need the science as much, but I was not willing to skip the swordsman here to take the iron, even though maybe it could be a consideration because it maybe balances stuff better out with my setup. But I think the swordsmen are just also really great for me to have, and with that, I just took swordsman and alchemy, having something to upgrade and also having a military tech available.
yeah, it's an interesting choice. Yeah, on my turn, that's something that I normally don't really do, and I also don't like that I did this in the end. I think, like taking something from 3CA. I was actually talking to Ipogi and like not about this game, but like 2 days before, he was saying like everyone really loves Barbarossa these days, and they're keep taking it for like 3CA, and I was telling him like I think 3CA is probably a bit a bit too much. And then I end up taking it for 3CA. I was like, you know what? I have the irrigation, I have the extra population from the Roman roads. I'm gonna get some rocks there. So I was like, okay, maybe I can just get a lot of value out of him, and then I don't have to be scared of someone else taking him and then being on Hammurabi, and I have only like heavy cavalry in my hand, so I was like a little scared maybe, but I think it was a little bit too scared because like the deck, no one's seeded at all. Of course, it can go very quickly if suddenly everyone starts seeding, but yeah, if no one's seeded at all, like spending 3 CA on something that will not do anything in like next 2 turns, pretty much guaranteed, is maybe just not worth it. But even though then, yeah, I mean Barbarossa, if you just get a few procs out, and I can get a lot of procs out, still a great leader, but yeah, there's also yeah, and I was like, I already have alchemy and irrigation, so taking something like iron would be weird, but I think maybe code of laws, of course, just go into the
Maybe even the engineering genius, even if you just use it for 2 resources.
ooh, engineering genius 2 CA for
It's
two
not great.
rocks. At that point,
Not
maybe I
great.
just go for the Barbarossa, but yeah, I think what about the code of law though? Like if I just make the alchemy now, one step, and then of course, in H3 or in H2, I will also get extra from the Roman roads. And I also see that you have an infinite amount of science. So if there's going to be a government, then you will take the first one away also. So I think I could very nicely go into this code of law. But I think if there might have been something like if I take the code of law for 2, then I have 3 silver actions left. I want to go alchemy and upgrade, and then I could just populate. Yeah, I think that would have been maybe a bit better. What do you think, this Barbarossa?
I think it's probably fine actually. I think you
Yeah,
are in a situation to get a lot of value out of him. It might prepare you against potential military pushers. It helps you with being in the last position. Yeah, it's of course the question if it's really worth 3 civil actions, but if you start going for alchemy, maybe you need to get into military tech next. So I think the code of laws might also not be used in the near future immediately. Of course, it can still improve your position overall later on. So I think going for the code of laws, I think would also be a fine move. But I actually I
don't
do not
disagree.
dislike
Yeah.
this Barbarossa really.
No, I don't think it's a big mistake if it's a mistake, but I think yeah, if the deck was just like 2 or 3 cards, like it's very close basically. But if the deck was like 2 or 3 cards deeper, then I think I would like this move. But now maybe it's just a little bit too far into the future to get any value. But yeah, if you tell me that code of law, because I was thinking, because there can also be signs from developments and stuff, of course, not guaranteed. But yeah, I was thinking that I
Might be
can.
possible that you get it going relatively quickly if at
Yeah,
the
I
end
was
two
thinking
turns.
alchemy now upgrade, and I also need to finish the Roman road, so I have like this project, and then maybe I can even get the code of law like in 2 turns. Yeah, probably. But yeah, it's not super obvious either way. But
No.
yeah,
That's why I was for a moment considering the engineering genius, because it allows you to now go for the alchemy and then guaranteed finish the Rome road. So while it
yeah,
only
that
gives
would
two resources,
be
it allows you guaranteed to invest your civil actions nicely and potentially gives you another food and resource at the next turn when it makes the
that's
difference between finishing it or not.
that's very fair. Yeah, if I don't have much to do, if you look at this row also, there's like only technologies. So it might be hard since I don't really want more technologies to use my civil actions efficiently. And then, yeah, if I can really make my civil actions efficient plus finish the Roman roads, getting an extra 2 resource, like you said, yeah, actually you might have a point. The code of laws is the late value engineering genius get. Yeah, no, so actually I think I do like that move that you mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you get the two resource from the developments, maybe you can just keep it in hand and use it for three resources later on.
True, yeah, there are some good wonders as well, like Machu Picchu, Forbidden City, even, yeah.
No, but no, a bit of a rough decision. Not all of those choices, I think, don't really look ideal, but
Yeah.
at the end, you
I just want to
probably
finish
just
my
have to
Roman
pick
roads. I
one
have
thing.
like 2 resources per turn extra, you know? It's like so
Yeah,
sick. Were you
no.
considering that you don't want to give me that, or did you just not have anything to see, really?
I at the turn before only had the new deposits to see it, and as I didn't get an early iron, and Barbucha will be getting the iron going quickly, I didn't want to commit to that yet.
Yeah, because I was thinking indeed, like I thought Barbusha would seed because he wanted the rocks for this pyramid, and I thought you might want to seed because I don't know, you have like swordsman and then Boudica, and you want to maybe get the rocks also because yeah, you're just getting 1 rock per turn from Boudica. And instead, you can get 2 rocks. Of course, that's much better. So I was expecting more people to seed it and get this Roman road down, but not getting it down early, it was really hurting me a lot. Yeah,
Yeah. I think I am generally in a position that where I want to see it, and we will see that I think at my next turn I will actually be the first one to push an event.
yeah,
But first of all, we are at Barbucha's turn. He will finish the pyramids, takes the alchemy, and thanks to having the urban growth, he can actually go for an upgrade immediately, costing him a food production from Ashoka, but he can use the civil action sufficiently and get some production going, and still has enough science left to also go for the iron at the next turn if he wants to. BB4 then gets the second copy of Iron, also the Code of Laws, so scores some science from Aristotle, decides to go for the Code of Laws first, and then at the next turn he still has enough science left to go for the Iron. Now it's my turn, and this turn I see the cultural influence into the deck, probably a relatively neutral event, but as I said, I think with having the swordsman, the legion tactic, I am generally in a position where it could be good for me if the event deck moves forward a little bit. The development of science is revealed. I mean, I don't really need the science that much, so I was not too happy about this development. And then it was a bit tricky because I could potentially just go for the two alchemy upgrades, for example, here get some science production going, but there's also the masonry. And if at the end I thought I have so much science, normally, of course, it's good to get your production going as quickly as possible. But here I felt like the masonry, even though I already built the first step of the Stonehenge, is still quite some potential, also with Forbidden City and Silk Road coming, and Railroad and Ocean Liner on H2. And then it's maybe just quite strong for me to then save some resources in the alchemy upgrades and just have that technology available also to invest my science from the Stonehenge into something nice. So instead of just going for some alchemy upgrades or something, I was then willing to take the masonry here, the delay my upgrades for now, because going for both masonry and alchemy isn't really possible nicely. So I rather just finish the Stonehenge and have now a really big amount of science saved up at the end of my turn.
yes. No, I like that. That you need more rocks, so I think that I also thought that was a good idea. So I
Yeah.
think the nice for the Barbarossa, and this was another like actually you know the Hammurabi and the Roman roads is like the synergy But Hammurabi actually can't seed because I I draw like no cards. I actually can't get myself the rocks. That was like one downside. Like no one wanted to seed, but I also have no events to seed. I have heavy cavalry, plunder, and defense card. So that is a small, I mean, negligible downside, but it is a real downside actually.
Yeah, no,
And yeah, as you can see, I already have 5 science, but so I just get the knights down already because yeah, just be efficient with the actions, and then maybe make some knights on my next turn. And now I still have the AG anyway, so I mean at
yeah,
least I can finish the wonder, and it only cost me 1 CA somehow, so
no.
it worked out.
It that may find its way back to you.
Yeah,
And you have the heavy cavalry tactic, so yeah, with Barbarossa you might be able to get 3 knights out, and then you should be relatively well prepared for the strength.
yeah,
All right. And then on Barbucha's turn, he seeds and opens the development of religion. I think every player has a free population to take advantage of that. He upgrades the lab, increases the population, gets out of corruption like that, and then goes for Nostradamus. And for one develops the iron and takes the patriotism to get the full Ashoka bonus. And yeah, I guess Nostradamus is just a very solid leader. Eleanor maybe also could be considered, but especially if he doesn't have good way to increase his military strength. And at the moment, he only has the fighting band tactic. Then Nostradamus might just be the safer pick here. And yeah, so that looks relatively efficient. He lets the Silk Road slide down to PV4, which I think will be strong for him. He goes for seeding, opens the development of Trade Routes, takes the Silk Road, develops the monarchy, so delays the iron by another turn. But thanks to the monarchy, he has now an additional urban building limit, which he will use to build another lab, which again then allows him to go for the iron at the next turn. Is now at 6 civil actions, 4 military actions, is prepared to get into a bunch of iron upgrades at the next turn as the Silk Road to get even some more stuff going. So I felt like when I saw this, I thought, oh, well, PV4 is off to having a good start and should go into H2 with a strong position.
yeah. Which is kind of funny because he has no upgrades on his economy, but he just has science, which then upgrades with the code of law and the monarchy,
No,
and that's just
no.
good. And the open
Yeah, so
borders that someone gave him.
that's true. Someone, I don't know who, but someone gave him the open borders, and that's also improving his position here. At my turn, I first of all take the free religion. I have 17 science lying around, so that's a bit of an overkill for the moment, and I don't have any copy of Code of Laws or Monarchy to spend the science yet. But I decided to go for Saladin here. The leaders that are on the road at the moment are actually are the last leaders left. So if I don't take any leader now, then I get either Columbus or Leonardo at my next turn. PV4 also still needs a leader. Leonardo, of course, would be nice, but on the other hand, I don't need the science from him as much. On the other hand, I might have some technologies to develop with the amount of science that I'm having. But I felt like if I'm stuck on 4 civil actions for longer, that could just be a bit awkward for me. And I get Saladin now. He's very solid and makes it that I have some more civil actions to spend maybe on going for some upgrades because I have not upgraded that much yet. But I can go for my first upgrades after electing Saladin. I go for 2 alchemy upgrades, and then to get out of corruption, I have to build a warrior. And what did I take with Boudica this turn? Again, a resource, because
Yeah.
I would, even when I take a science, would not be out of corruption if I don't build a warrior, but I am still out of corruption when I take the resource when building the warrior, and I want to go for the legion tactic anyway, so this turn at the end felt very solid for me.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, I noticed that you took rocks every single turn except for the one turn where you was able to get out of corruption with taking the science, which is pretty rare when taking Boudica.
That's true, no, but with Stonehenge breakthrough in alchemy, yeah, you
Yeah,
don't just have already that much
definitely.
science.
Now I can finally finish the Roman roads. It would actually be like close to the end of the age if I didn't have the EG. I still would not have enough rocks.
Yeah,
Like somehow, like it's crazy. Um, and yeah, now my Barbarossa I can get in, but I can only make an warrior with the remaining rocks, which I then do question mark. Why? Oh, because of corruption. Yeah, because of corruption. Yeah, that's true.
Just allows you to get this population out without a civil action, then you can still take this warfare at the end.
Yeah, I did like the warfare with the Barbarossa, I guess, and we'll get. Yeah, I think that's what I said. Like, I don't really have dips on the first government. Like, you're just gonna take it for 3 CA, so not sure when I can get the government, and then the third military action could be nice, maybe. But
Yeah.
maybe it's a bit optimistic. But yeah, I will get 5 science per turn now, so.
No, I think the warfare looks quite strong for you here. Then you can maybe just wait for an H2 government form, and in case you get a republic, at least you have that third military action.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it.
And no, and as we remember, there are almost no military action leaders in the game, so warfare maybe also increases a bit in value.
Yep.
Babucha this turn starts going for
Although,
some iron
sorry,
upgrade.
sorry to interrupt you, but the funny thing is Robespierre. I think that's also great warfare synergy.
That's true. No, because then if you go into Republic, you at least have for the moment four military actions, and then you can replace them without dropping down to 2. So, yeah, that's I agree with that. And Babucha this turn goes for some mine upgrades. So I think his position is definitely also not bad. Nostradamus helps him with the strength, and he has already 2 iron and alchemy going, plus the pyramids. So that's not bad. He increases his population, takes the rich land, and also secures himself a copy of knights. Now it's PV4's turn. He seeds and opens the development of agriculture. He starts going for the iron this turn, can go for 1 upgrade with the rich land using the Silk Road bonus. Takes the knights with Aristotle, scoring 1 more science. So Aristotle has scored him 4 science, which I guess is not the greatest Aristotle, but still the few amount of science that he got helped him maybe to get Code of Laws, Monarchy, and Iron going a bit quicker. So it
I'm a
might still
big
been.
Aristotle hater.
I already heard it. um,
This is
I think
very like this. Even if you take Aristotle all the way in H1, he only gives you 4 science. And when you swap him earlier, then usually you only get like 1 or 2 science in like 3 or 4 turns because yeah, the turn you take him, you don't get science. The turn you finish your wonder, you don't get science usually. So you're like 1 or 2 behind. And then yeah, even like now, yeah, of course science is good, but I think yeah, overrated. Just wanted to put it out there to the masses.
okay. I for a while I actually also didn't like Aristotle that much, basically for the reasons you just stated. But then again, maybe the situation is both you can use it in for or against Aristotle because yeah, he didn't really give that much value just for science. But then again, it might have allowed Code of Laws, Monarchy a turn earlier. Iron, I just think science generally is just such a valuable resource early on that even if you don't get as much out of it as, for example, if you what you get out of Clio or something, if you go for a resource leader, I still think the science can just be so valuable. But it's tricky because if you have to replace him early, then Aristotle definitely completely sucks, or most of the
Ah,
times.
okay. At
So
least we agree on that. Yeah.
yeah. But PV4 gets Columbus now. Head has a good amount of draws because of that open borders agreement that someone offered to him, and there's
Hmm.
definitely a chance that he might have a good colony available. Then at my turn, I have a lot of science to spend, and I decided to invest it into the Code of Laws. There's actually also a monarchy in the row, but I thought that I had so much science that I can also just go for an H2 government form. When I go for the Code of Laws, then at least with Saladin, I'm at 6 civil, 3 military actions. I felt like that's fine for now, and then I'm in a position where I can just wait for an H2 government form drop to really get a big boost going instead of committing now to a monarchy, which at some point might feel a bit underwhelming. So I went for the Code of Laws here. I can increase my population twice. And that just gets me out of corruption, which is nice. The last civil action, I thought about the irrigation because there is the ocean liner service in the game. Potentially even the Machu Picchu is still coming down the road, and a copy of Iron is also still in the deck. So I think the irrigation could be a fine pick here. At the end, I decided to actually just go with the reserves because I have a good amount of civil actions. But my overall amount of resource, I mean, at the moment is still quite fine, but I need to build some swordsmen soon. I just felt like, even though it's not the most efficient card, getting those additional resources in my particular position could still be quite helpful. So I rather went for the reserves, but I think irrigation could also be a very fine pick for my last civil action. And then I revealed a Legion tactic to have more draws in H2 later on.
Yeah, I was actually scared that Barbusha can take this irrigation Machu Picchu. I was kind of hoping that you would deny it,
That
which
could also be a
was,
reason, yes.
but of course that's not for you, but it's for me. Like I wanted you to deny it, yeah, to help me basically. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I talked about this in one of my videos in the tips for tryhards, that it's very bad idea to actually go for the same thing that the person in front of you is doing. And I mean, what is Weidenbaum doing? He has double alchemy Stonehenge, and I also have double alchemy and basically Stonehenge. I mean, I have Roman Road, so like we both have like into H2 a lot of science production, or he has leftover science and science production. I have a lot of science production. And so I know that if there's a god of law coming down, you're gonna take it, and then I don't have it. And then I know that if there's like a government coming down in H2, then you're gonna take it, and I can't take it. So I think it's this is a very good showcase of why it's very bad that you're doing the exact same thing as the person in front of you.
Yeah, now then some key cards for that kind of strategy definitely can be taken away. So now that's
Key cards, key leaders, even yeah, everything basically. Yeah. Also like the first call, for example, right?
true, yeah.
Because we above have the alchemy now, you want the first call and etc etc. I did a video on this. I think, yeah, I think this reminded me of that video. It's like, yeah, this is exactly the problem. And well, don't do this, guys, because yeah, you can see this is why I'm getting a bad position. Not actually because my government or my civilization is so bad, but it's because I will get denied a lot just because Weidenbaum is doing the same thing. And yeah, I just make some knights here, and now for some reason can't make a third knight, and I have two warriors. Yeah, that was just yeah, what it. Yeah, it's a bit awkward. I'm gonna say like next turn, I have two food, and then I can't make another one anyway, right? Unless there's some development revealed, I guess. And so I really wanted to make another night, but I can't. And there's also like some happy face issues, so it was like getting a bit awkward here for me. And now what did I end up doing? Oh yeah, I remember. Let's see. Yeah, it's just some irrigation, I guess. Oh yeah, I make irrigation to actually be able to make the night. But then again, it's an unhappy worker that I have, so I have to like then disband the warrior, which I mean, it's not the worst thing if you made the warrior with Barbarossa, you don't actually lose any resources, right? Like you spend a food and a rock instead of two food, or in this case, probably was like two food and a rock instead of three food. And they use two MA instead of a CA, so it's like kind of similar. So it's not a huge deal, but yeah, it's not the best either, I think. But we will see that it will get even more annoying than this.
Yeah, but I think it's a good that you set yourself up to go for the third knight here with the Barbaros activation.
Yeah.
Then Babucha pushes and opens the development of craft, so the resources that you wanted to see earlier are now revealed a bit later. And he will go for the monarchy. The third military action is quite helpful for Nostradamus, and with the pyramids, if he maybe gets justice system or something, can maybe stay on that monarchy for quite a while. He then also takes the cultural heritage and develops the bread and circuses, copies the heavy cavalry tactic interestingly, so maybe he hasn't drawn anything himself and just wants to be able to build 3 knights soon, which then of course could be quite strong.
Now, I know I mentioned in the chat that I really thought that he should just take this irrigation Machu Picchu. Like it's the end of H1. There's already one monarchy down, so I mean, okay, me and you can still take the other government, so it could be delayed. And of course, the third MA is nice, but I mean, maybe there's also at least like a strategy. But I think if he takes irrigation Machu Picchu now, he has like so many rocks then that he can just finish it next turn or something, or like very quickly, and then you basically have the selective breeding right away. So instead of mm, getting one civil action and one military action, you can just fix your whole food and resources production. I don't know, that seemed very strong to me.
Yeah, and don't know if maybe even both would be possible, maybe at the cost of corruption or something, going for monarchy, because I do think the
Oh
monarchy is
yeah,
quite
yeah.
strong for him.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
he
actually
can even,
everything and then just get corruption. I like that a lot actually. Yeah, because the monarchy is strong, I agree. And I think Machu Picchu is also very, very strong here. So I think yeah, that's what I would have done if I would have seen that. Yeah.
yeah, and did he take the bread and circus? No, he only developed them, because what I also was thinking is that if you go for monarchy, the Forbidden City also could be a very interesting option. To go up to 7 civil actions and then
Yeah,
again
yeah,
develop
yeah.
into the bread and circuses. So I was also thinking that maybe going for one of those wonders could be quite strong. Of course, there's always a chance in such kind of situations that you get rewarded by an early ocean liner service, early railroad. So blocking yourself even for a short amount of time, if you are entering early H2 with iron mines, can be punished. But on the other hand, both of those wonders I think would give some benefits. So
Yeah, and
um,
if you go with Machu Picchu, then the ocean liner is not super important because you actually just have a selective breeding at the start of H2, right? Then like it's
yeah,
still probably good because you have like so many resources as well, but it's just so cheap and ocean liner is just OP, but yeah, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But yeah, with Forbidden City would be a bit nicer to have the ocean liner because then you don't have selective breeding. Yeah.
yeah. So that could have been interesting. I was eyeing that situation because I felt like the Forbidden City with my masonry could still be interesting, because while I have only bronze mines, I have now a bunch of resources saved up and might need to spend them somehow. And yeah, then we are at PV4's turn, and I think his position is improving here. He has had Columbus and got a vast territory with him, and he also gets a very early replacement leader, which for now I guess is not doing that much, because he goes for Newton, saving a civil action when developing those knights, and thanks to the additional yellows from the territory, he can also build 3 knights, going up to 11 strength, taking the strength lead for now. Yeah, but he got now the 3 additional yellows from the colony, has this Newton, and the thing is, Barbucha, I, and you, we are all on alchemy, so it's very, very likely that he gets at some point the scientific method, and then yeah, he has just a very strong leader going, found a replacement for Columbus very early, and yeah, with that, I think definitely has quite a strong position
Yeah,
here.
it was disgusting, like completely disgusting. No, I mean, like I don't think you can overstate how disgusting his position is. Like holy damn, like this getting this Newton as well so early. Like Newton is the best leader for him probably, right? And then getting the vast territory, perfect. He has everything, even the triple knight, perfect timing when the deck flips. Like I don't think it gets much better than this for an H1. It's insane. So yeah, at
Yeah.
this point I was like, okay, I don't even know how to get. I mean, especially me, but I don't even know if anyone can catch this. Like it's so insane.
Yeah, I think the best, of course, would be if for some reason both scientific methods are very late, or maybe one of the opponents denies one or something.
Yeah,
But if the scientific methods get going quickly, then PV4's position is quite really, really strong.
he can also, of course, get a library and then maybe just disband the
That's
philosophy
yeah,
and just make a
yeah,
library at that point.
that's also probably possible for him. At my turn, there's the next early strong leader available, and I actually decide to take him as well, Nobel. For myself, Nobel is of course useful, but the civil action from Saladin I felt like also is probably useful, but we will see that the strength from Nobel actually matters, because I have that open borders agreement with PV4, and I actually didn't drew any defense card yet, so if I am staying a bit behind, there's maybe a small risk that PV4 could just fire off an aggression against me, and then again, if I don't take Nobel, either you or Barbucha could maybe go for him. I think especially for you, doing one more Barbarossa activation and then getting Nobel would be quite strong. And I felt for me, Nobel is also just quite strong generally. If you get Nobel early H2, that's just really strong. Then again, I might not need the science as much, but the strength for the moment is quite useful, and long term, the science hopefully I will still be able to spend it on something useful. So I was quite happy that I had the opportunity to take him, and then I need to get stronger to not be in danger of an aggression. I developed a swordsman, built 2 of them, which also gets me out of corruption. Now I'm at 10 strength, so even with the +2 from the open borders, I can defend despite having no defense cards. And with the last 2 civil actions, I then indeed actually decided to go for the Forbidden City here because with the masonry, I think that's just really, really efficient. I lost Saladin now, and generally, I just think it's very strong if you then later on go into H3 with lots of civil actions. If I get a government form now and finish the Forbidden City, I'm either at 8 or 9 civil actions, depending on whether I get Republic or Conmon. And I felt like if I also get some coal going in addition to that, then my position also is actually quite strong. Um, and I now thought I can maybe compete also with PV4 strong position. If I get those things, I'm a bit dependent on those things. If the government forms and coals are late, my position gets worse. But I felt I have quite some potential here. Alternatively, I could have grabbed the iron, just go into iron, but I felt the long-term potential of now getting Forbidden City and waiting a little bit for the coal might just be better, and so I went for the Forbidden City.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision. I would be a little bit afraid of being able to finish it if there's a call, then you also need to go into the call, maybe selective breeding, and then maybe this stands around for a while, but there's also not really anything else that you really want to pick up. I think this iron is not that good, and you have position on me, so I'm kind of forced to take the iron unless I have to wait a million years for a call potentially. So yeah, I can see this move. And yeah, of course, I need to make this third knight no matter what. And then I just disband a warrior. Yeah, which I mean is fine. And I am kind of forced to take this iron, like I said. He has position on me, so the second call, yeah, it will just could just be a very, very long time. And then I thought if I really have irrigation and iron, then I know this Machu Picchu will take a while, but again, okay, but now that you have a wonder, maybe I could say that I can get another wonder. I was thinking like there's not that many great wonders. Like Eiffel Tower I don't want, Statue of Liberty I don't want, Louvre I don't want, especially yeah. So it's like ocean liner, but I don't need it, and I have yeah low resources, and then railroad is nice, but yeah, like there's not. I think compared to Machu Picchu, when you have iron and irrigation, it's actually not that much worse than these wonders, and you can actually yeah you're not sure when they'll fall and if you can even get them because people will definitely take this ocean liner when no one has selective readings at all. They will just take it from the top. So yeah, I felt like okay, this Machu Picchu will probably be very slow, but if I just finish it at some point, then I will have a good position with like 6 food, 8 resources, 5 science for now with the Roman roads. So, and it was a pretty straightforward plan, like yeah. And if I don't do that, then I just have like some H1 production, and it's just not gonna cut it. I felt like so that's why I took this line with the Machu Picchu.
Yeah, I think it's understandable. I'm not sure if I would do it. I'm also maybe a bit lower on the Machu Picchu as you are, but you are right that it might be better for you than some of the H2 wonders, especially Eiffel Tower, Louvre, Statue. You don't really need. Ocean Line and Railroad might be contested, maybe because you maybe in compared to the position now of Barbucha, PV4 and me, maybe you start feeling a bit behind here. Maybe you can take some risks,
Yeah.
hoping that you get the ocean liner service or railroad,
Ah.
which I think would maybe be better than a Machu Picchu. But then again, you don't know if you don't get if you
Yeah,
get
and I
them or
also
not.
have only 4 CA. That was the other
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But
So it's
yeah,
it's it's a real tough choice.
it was definitely like an option to just take efficient upgrade. Then you know at least you get like an iron quicker, and then maybe you get stuff going. That's also definitely worth a lot. So yeah, I'm also not sure if this is the correct move, but yeah,
Now, if you get that Machu Picchu going, at least it leaves you with definitely quite a decent economy. So I do think it can definitely work out. I think probably I would not commit to the Machu Picchu here, but it can then also backfire you completely if I don't find anything to spend my resources on.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I missed is that I still have to upgrade like this religion to like an organized religion, and I also thought it was actually very likely that rebellion would be in there because yeah, I mean, I don't know, you had some happy face. PV4 also wasn't struggling and took the theology, so I was actually thinking maybe PV4 seeded or is scared for it. And then
Yeah,
Barbusha also already put down the bread and circuses, so I was like, okay, people are kind of playing around Rebellion, maybe also just scared as me, but yeah, we got the whole deck that got pushed around, through, right? And no one seeded until the end, so people were just like picking what they want to seed, and none of it should be really strength related because I took like Barbarossa early, and it was not very obvious that people would get strong, so I was thinking like non-strength event that people have around is definitely can definitely be Rebellion.
yeah,
So yeah, then I'm kind of forced to upgrade this organized religion. If I drew rebellion myself, then I can actually just like upgrade some irons, and then actually it's playable. But because this organized religion will cost me like 4 rocks, that just sets me back so much that I think if that wasn't the case, then I think this is completely fine. But now that slows me down so much that I probably should just take the efficient upgrade and then actually get something going instead of yeah delaying it even longer.
yeah. Now Rebellion would definitely probably game over for you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so that would be quite rough. And it's true, Babucha has an unhappy face, but he has already developed bread and circuses, so it definitely looks like it could be a potential event in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, then Balbucha seeds, so the event deck flips now. Development of Civil Life is revealed, which just allows him to increase his population. So I think for him quite a useful development. He develops the
Mm.
Knights, and with the Patriotism can now build 3 of them, can build a Bread and Circuses, and has now also 12 Strength, which actually makes me the weakest for a moment. So I was worried that I
Oh my
might
God,
just get.
I just realized how good this Civil Life is. That's crazy. Like it actually makes him able to make this bread and triple nice when he would be stuck on 3+0. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's really strong for him. Otherwise, he might have needed to disband a warrior or something. But like this is just much more clean. So development of Civil Life, I think, was a good hit here by him. And then it's PV4's turn. Unfortunately, as we can see, the first copy of Scientific Method is not late, it's early, but at least fortunately for me, there's no strength event revealed, as I was afraid of that, as I'm the weakest. Instead, the cultural influence that I seeded, which even gives me +1 against Yun Barbucha, so who knows if that matters at the end. And then PV4 develops the theology, which still leaves him with enough science to go into the Scientific Method at the next turn, builds a knight. With that, he is the strongest now. Takes the Scientific Method, efficient upgrade, and interestingly the Republic, which is yeah, probably a hate draft because
Definitely.
as I said at my turn, if I get a government form and a coal going quickly, I do think my position can definitely compete with PV4's position, and maybe he was afraid of that as well and decides to cut the Republic here, the first government form, as that I think would, yeah, would just give me an insanely big boost. So no, it costs PV4 also. He could have taken cannons, he could have taken in relatively good yellow, but yeah, it might be worthwhile for him here.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I do like it. Also, it snowballs into me because you're gonna take the first one, I'm gonna take the second one. I
No,
mean, maybe he's just not scared of me at all, which is very fair. But yeah, because he denies you, actually indirectly also denies me. So I think that was also another interesting thing. And second thing I wanted to say is, if I was Barbusha, I would have actually denied the scientific method because I think his position is so strong, and I would need to be first that I can't have him let him have this.
no,
I know.
it might have been worthwhile. What did Babucha do at his turn? I guess he built all of those things, and then he takes Breakthrough and Swordsman. I mean, it's a bit
Swordsman
of a
is
cost, but especially the
definitely
Swordsman,
so it's just two science basically breakthrough,
no,
in my opinion.
might be worthwhile. No,
I mean, it's just
so
because of the stakes with the if you need to get first. If it wasn't like that, then of course I wouldn't do it. But if you really want to get first, I think this basically just guarantees PV4 to win in a way, but yeah, of course not guaranteed, but it's extremely strong, too strong.
Yeah, maybe it could be a position where a hate draft might be worthwhile, as PV4 at the next turn can now get some insanely big science production going.
And then I would have denied the second one if he would have done it. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, easy to say no in hindsight, but
Yeah, yeah. Just make false
yeah,
promises.
it's always the possibility if the first copy is denied, hate drafted if the second one is maybe doing even more damage. So who knows? Maybe the opponents are also then doing it. So yeah, while there's no Republic available for me, at least there's something else available for me that I can invest my science into, which is useful for me, and that's the strategy. It is quite expensive for me actually to take it for 3 civil actions, and I also decide to develop it. But the thing is, it makes it that I'm instead of the weakest, will be the strongest, which maybe is not even worth that much because in my hand I have both the uncertain borders and a border conflict. So maybe the two most influential strength events are not in the deck, but there might still be other ones. And generally, I just need to invest my science into something. It also sets myself up in case I get a second republic as the next government form, then I'm now nicely set up for that. So despite it being expensive, civil action cost wise, I was willing to go for that here. I also considered, I think, finishing Forbidden City and just taking strategy in hand, but yeah, developing the strategy and then upgrading one warrior to swordsman, which combination with building the first two steps of Forbidden City gets me out of corruption. Also just makes it that I'm now the strongest instead of the weakest, which I think can be very influential, especially with my few resources. If I now am part of a fray or don't get hit by raiders or something, that can be quite influential. And so I was even willing to skip the cannons here, which for one civil action is most of the time some insta crap, and I might get punished for not taking it, but the strategy and getting stronger immediately just felt so valuable for me.
The amount of times I've heard you say, I decided to skip this cannons and I might get punished for it. It's like way too
Yeah,
often.
sometimes I do get punished for it.
No, yeah, I have to take the stupid organized religion, which I was very happy to take and develop, but I was not very happy that I see that people also got like into a lot of strength, and then I kind of am forced to make another knight as well to not be weakest. And now I'm like, yeah, again, also suddenly I'm strongest instead of weakest, so like, yeah, it's probably worth it. But yeah, again, I also would really thought hoping for some foray because I still don't have some iron somehow. Like I'm actually spending all my resources on other things. Yeah, but I do take the cannon. That's my turn.
Yeah. Now, so here I thought if maybe I can definitely completely understand that that you go for this turn because you can just get hit by so many so much nasty stuff if you don't fix your happy faces and stay weakest. But then again, I just feel like this at the end of the turn it just looks quite awkward with having no upgraded mines and a Machu Picchu still to finish. So I was
I
thinking
know.
if maybe it could just be worth the gamble here, just going for two upgrades, maybe taking organized
Two
religion, maybe even
upgrades.
if you
Oh, no
basically
organized religion. Yeah, this play
no
just
organized
this.
religion, no
Yeah,
knights, just two upgrades, take the organized religion in hand, maybe even take the patriotism over the cannons, and then at the next turn you
yeah.
can upgrade the organized religion with the patriotism, build the next knight, and maybe you get lucky, maybe the strength events or the rebellion is later in the deck. Um, Normally, I think it would probably be fine to fix those things, but as you might be behind, maybe it could be worthwhile to just hope that nothing bad happens and get
Yeah,
the stuff going.
I think the problem for me was definitely that I thought that this rebellion was for me it was like 90%. So maybe I
No,
misevaluated that, but I thought that was like extremely likely seeing how people played and also what type of event I was expecting, like a non-strength event. Actually, no, it was in the last one, right? Or no, was it? Is it still like how many events did we see now? Was this still like the first deck cycle
yeah,
or?
it's the first
Yeah,
event
yeah,
deck,
okay, yeah,
actually,
yeah.
one event
Wow.
that the strongest has
Jeez.
influence.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, so yeah, exactly, yeah. So yeah, no, I just thought Rebellion is just so incredibly likely, yeah, that I went for this. But
No,
I
as I said, I
mean,
think it's
making a knight without a Barbarossa proc also. But yeah, I just yeah, it's just difficult. Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, I agree with you. This looks completely awful. But yeah, no, I don't know. And I might just like PV4 just upgrades his strength somehow. Does he? I think he does with the rifleman or something. and then I'm weakest again, and then I'm like in the same position. It's just okay. Maybe I dodged like one or two seeds. So yeah, it is a little bit of but yeah, I mean the rebellion thing, you know. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think it's very fair from you that you suspected it being a deck. I think it looks very likely. But maybe you can take the risk of fixing your happy faces, delaying it by one
One
turn, getting the
turn.
upgrades going now, getting the patriotism, and then you can maybe fix it at the next turn. That's maybe what my
Yeah.
suggestion
No,
would be, because
I
you may,
definitely understand where you're coming from. The other problem is, of course, if I don't make my knight, then people will also seed everything, and then I really get
yeah,
hit by like three
yeah.
things, which
It
includes
it can
rebellion.
completely backfire. So if you go for my suggestion and then the wrong events come out, the game might be over. But when I take a look at your position,
The
when I
game
saw
might
this, I
already
thought,
be
well,
over. Yeah.
maybe the game could also be over just like this as well.
I
So maybe you
was
have to play for the out where the game isn't over. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, I get what you're saying for sure. And it's also something I would definitely consider. I think it was, yeah, the rebellion thing was for me. But yeah, maybe, yeah, I don't know. It's difficult. But yeah,
That's
I agree with the sentiment for sure.
But I mean, at least now that your civilization looks like that, you are getting some pacts offered. Ababush offers you
Yeah,
a
yeah,
trade
okay.
agreement to you, so there might have been some additional value for you in the turn. So maybe he would have offered it to you anyway, but yeah, like this, he offers you some additional food, which might be helpful for Barbarossa. And he actually switches to Maria Theresa, or doesn't switch to her yet, but takes her in hand, takes the selective breeding, the patriotism, and develops the selective breeding, which for me was kind of looking like an indicator that Dark Ages might be coming. He's just now very perfectly at 4 signs, developed it without upgrading. So that was what I was afraid now, because I still have a lot of signs saved up. But there is actually a second government form coming down the road. I was very interested to see if PV4 again is willing to go for a denial here. And then there are the Raiders revealed, which is quite unfortunate for you because of Nostradamus and being in tiebreakers behind me. You now get hit by that despite your investments. And in this position, I think the Raiders is just so bad for you. It will get a bit worse,
Yeah.
but even now, with your few income, it's just such an annoying event. So now and that's unfortunate because you did some investments to get stronger, but now you get punished anyway. So that's quite unfortunate.
The worst event. Yeah.
And now PV4 goes up to 8 science income with upgrading to scientific method, upgrades the last mine, takes the rifleman, the urban growth. And he doesn't take the common, so I was quite happy to see that. And there would have been the Republic next, so I mean, you could have followed up maybe, but there's just a big chance that it could also just backfire. And I have the strategy now, so I'm nicely prepared for Republic if it shows up. So he decides to not go for the hate draft again. And I could have gone for Republic, but of course common is available for cheaper. I push something into the deck. That was a bit controversial from my side, and it also reveals the reds, which is quite annoying for you. You lose only 2 food, but that food normally would maybe be planned to lose for by the Raiders, but now it's
Yeah, then
lost
I
by the
can finally
Rebels.
upgrade my iron, which I developed like 4 turns ago.
And now it's starting to get really ugly for you because you are at 3+3 and now you have to lose the resources to the Raiders. So that's now really, really annoying. And yeah, the event that I have seeded is maybe a bit questionable, but I was the strongest at my turn. I kind of wanted to push. I have some strength events. I could have also seeded border conflict or uncertain borders, but I just felt like that in the next few turns, I just want to fully concentrate on getting my economy going and ideally coal and stuff and finishing the Forbidden City. And I don't want to be distracted having to do some awkward stuff to get stronger. So I didn't want to push the strength events. Maybe I could have just already committed. No, I guess not. At this point, you are still quite a bit behind me. I have the terrorism in hand, which I will push later on, but at the moment, it looks like you would just be the one with the lowest culture. And then I have international agreement, economic progress, which not looking that great. So I see that the new deposits. Maybe I could have gone for economic progress, as that might be revealed a
No,
bit
you were
later.
the one that seeded that. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that I was hoping that there are still 2 copies of coal. All of my opponents have committed to iron mine. I was hoping that maybe I have a good chance getting into coal at the next turn. And then even if I get only 5 resources, I just felt like it gives my position just such a big boost. Maybe I can go then for the railroad or something, that I was at the end willing to push because I wanted to push because I'm the strongest. I could also say I maybe don't want to push because there could be dark ages, and that could be quite bad to
True.
see.
Yeah,
So
wait,
how
you're
what
pushing
might
when you're
be?
going into the Conmon when there's Dark Ages? With some
I, that's
garbage new deposits? Wait, what is going on?
it's true. It might be a bit questionable, and I have already the most influential strengthmans in my hand. So yeah, maybe I should have just not pushed here. I guess with a 25% chance that Dark Ages might be revealed if it's in the decks. So but I felt like I have maybe a short window where I'm the strongest, and soon I might even potentially be the weakest, as after upgrading a warrior to swordsman, I can't really do a lot more about my strength. So I felt like there's this window where I maybe can avoid some stuff, and but maybe with the threat of dark ages and with the new deposits at the moment not being really clear how good that will be for me, I maybe should have just not pushed here. And yeah, but I pushed, I get into the constitutional monarchy, and then I can finish the Forbidden City. There's the engineering genius, but I can't really wait another turn because then I have issues to get out of corruption, and I still take the engineering genius because who knows, maybe I can still somehow get into ocean liner service or railroads, so that card might still be valuable. And so I just take some cards, cavalryman, to now at least have a military tech, as I already have taken the risk with missing out on the cannons, the engineering genius, and the breakthrough, just using my civil actions to take some stuff here. Maybe I could have even taken Rifleman for 3, but then I would have missed out on some of those yellow cards, and I think the cavalryman maybe are more important for me here. So yeah, that at the end was my turn. That was, apart from seeding, maybe relatively straightforward.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I didn't see any chance that I would ever get this EG, but this was like my last pray to the gods to give me this
Yeah,
EG.
yeah. The rule for you, that would be such a big help.
Because I, of course, I did see that you have like some masonry, and you kind of wanted to finish this anyway. But yeah, there was like you have too many civ actions, and yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
looking at our civs, yeah, I'm on 4-3 right now. Yeah, my civilization is looking amazing. So I was thinking, should I resign? Honestly, I mean, I was like, yeah, I can just play it out a little bit more. If I can finish this Machu Picchu maybe in time, then who knows? I can maybe play something. At least can get the Republic next turn. And yeah, who knows? But yeah, I was. It's obviously this is about as bad as this might be the worst position I've ever been in H2 or in
yeah,
a 4-player game.
yeah. Definitely looks very ugly now with the 2 resources lost from the raiders also.
Yeah, the resource from the rage, but with the rats in conjunction. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you hadn't seeded that stupid new deposits, then I would not have this nonsense. Yeah.
yeah. That turned out to be a crucial decision. My seeding choice here.
Okay.
All right, and yeah, at least one somewhat nice event is open for you now.
Which one?
The immigration. Or
Ah,
you
yes.
put something into the deck at your turn.
Ah, yes, the first thing finally. And I also don't get a good leader, so I mean, like I don't like Katarina. I already have 3 MA, but there's only like Bach and Shakespeare left somehow.
No,
Um, so I mean, everything is just going wrong. Like there's actually like nothing going right except for what happened that was good for me? Oh, the immigration. Yeah, okay, sure.
yeah,
Yeah, very
but I mean the
happy.
population doesn't really do anything for some time now. But at some point it might be useful.
Yeah. Now I've actually put in the iconoclasm because I was like, okay, well everyone got something good. I only have Catherine, and actually Catherine is sort of good for me because I can actually get now the yellow token, and then iconoclasm can come out, and then it's actually a good transitional leader like that.
Yeah,
So the
that's true.
iconoclasm was a very nice seed here. Yeah, mm, that's it.
Yeah, so and now Catherine Republic, so at least you can maybe finally get some civil actions going. But no, looks definitely still quite rough. But you have the hussars at the end of your turn.
Yeah, so that is nice.
And it was actually a bit annoying for me. We will see at my next turn that this potential loss of yellow token, I had the potential to make quite a difference for me. Babucha seeds and opens a colony, the strategic territory, which he is also able to win. I still haven't drawn any defense cards, so I can't really bid a lot on this one. Babucha goes for Maria Theresa this turn. I thought maybe we'll just go for the Ocean Liner service here with Maria, but he decides to just go for the selective breeding and takes the cannons, as well as the navigation, the revolutionary idea. So he gets some nice stuff. On the other hand, Ocean Liner service is just so insanely strong, especially with Maria, so I might have just gone for that here. PV4 seeds and opens the Dark Ages, so those were indeed in there, and I could have gotten hit by it quite a bit more harshly, and like this it's actually somewhat fine for me. It's still a bit bad because I'm now just one sign short of getting into coal at the next turn, and there are those new deposits coming that I put into the deck, and so it still is a bit annoying. Another reason why I maybe shouldn't have seeded those new deposits, because even when the Dark Ages are revealed after my turn, it still causes problems with those new deposits coming, so I do think that was was a mistake from me. But now all players just lose a bit of science, and you lose. The science makes it that you can't go into Republic. You can maybe
I
do.
mean, how is it possible that like I'm doing the worst and I still get hit by everything? Like I'm supposed to have the lowest of everything, so at least I should be safe of Dark Ages, right? No, but I also get hit by Dark Ages the most. It's like, oh my god, this game was so tilting. Actually, I mean, at some
Yeah,
point I just had to laugh.
sometimes games are really cursed. So yeah, you were now getting hit by the Dark Ages, not being able to develop Republic peacefully. So again, not great for your position. PV4 goes for the architecture, which is a strong technology for him. He can then go for the next upgrade or to scientific method a bit cheaper, and goes even for another upgrade. Is now 12 science income, and there is even Bill Gates in the deck, so
Yeah.
even some nice notchy for those labs. Then builds one step of the Silk Road, so that he can build the next 3 steps with 1 civil action with the architecture. Now it's my turn. I don't want to push. I still had some very small hope that maybe the new deposits are not revealed before my next turn, because you might want to use Catherine. PV4 is weakest. Maybe only Barbucha will see it. And I try to set myself up so that I can, at the next turn, then at least get one coal upgrade going, because what Wonder Ocean Liner service in the row with Barbucha not having taken it, meaning I can spend 4 civil actions to take it. I have this Engineering Genius in hand, so it's very, very cheap for me, and I still need to fix my food income. And I thought about maybe I can just go for the selective breeding or something, but I think with this Engineering Genius and also the Masonry, which of course doesn't work too well with the Engineering Genius, but at least it saves me still 1 civil action. I think this Ocean Liner service is just so strong, and I then take the reserves because I need every additional resource that I can get. And with those reserves, as we can maybe see at the end of my turn, I also take the team sports to have a happy face solution. There's Pierre in the game. I then play my reserves 1, as I might potentially lose them before my next turn. There's a chance that the age might end, and then I build 2 stages of the Ocean Liner service. And now with the reserves, I can at my next turn finish the Ocean Liner service basically only for 1 real resource, as I have the Engineering Genius. And then if I play the reserves, I'm at 6, and I could finish the Ocean Liner while also going for 1 coal upgrade. And I was kind of hoping that maybe for somehow the new deposits are not revealed yet, and that I at least get 5 resources out of them, which then might, at least maybe those 5 resources might be more valuable for me than for my opponents potentially. But I was not too happy about how this turned out, and I think that was somewhat foreseeable, especially
Yeah,
with the threat of Dark Ages.
of course. Also the fact that it's an H1 uh, event when people are
Yeah,
seeding H2, it's gonna come out very, very quickly. So it's yeah, it was very dangerous.
no, I was just hoping that I get Call out at the next turn, but I think I just missed that if the Dark Ages are revealed after my turn, I can't get them
Mm-hmm.
out, and then stuff starts to get awkward. So, yeah, sadly now those new deposits could potentially backfire, but I was still having some hope that maybe if it's the second one of the events, and maybe only Barbucha will see it, that I could still have a chance getting into coal first. And if the age should end, I thought it could be a bit annoying because I will lose 2 yellow tokens, and I thought now you will use Catherine, I would then lose 3 yellow tokens. I will get one if I finish the Ocean Liner, but I also want to get it out immediately, and then I would have some famine issues already the next turn, so I was kind of hoping that the age doesn't end before my next turn. Which I
Ah,
guess with you not being able to develop the Republic is at least it's maybe more likely that actually there will be another turn in age 2. And I also get a good draw because I draw the defensive army tactic, which is of course the perfect tactic for me. But I have skipped those cannons, so now
the
I was really,
cannons.
really hoping that I somehow still get the last copy of cannons and don't get punished for my greediness earlier on.
I see. Let's see. Because wait, blue and yellow has. Oh, I have the cannons. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I took that cannons a bit greedily with the patriotism. Yeah, I remember that. I also saw the patriotism there. I was like, yeah, maybe I need to take the patriotism, but then what am I gonna spend it on if I don't have? Yeah, then I need to wait with the knights, and then, yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah, I just get the Catherine proc. Of course, it's nice,
Yeah,
and yeah, I have to just do revolution. I mean, honestly, it might be the best move anyway. I'm not sure. I mean, there's a breakthrough here. I didn't even really look. Um, but yeah, it was just forced for Republic, and I mean, it does save me like 9 science
yeah,
for maybe like 2 for 6 civil actions that I would get from it, right? So it's like 1.5 science per civil action. That's a good deal, especially at the end
yeah,
of
definitely.
H2 when you don't have much stuff to take. So honestly, I would probably do this anyway. No corruption.
Yeah, no. I also think that might just be the best turn anyway. If there would be more yellow cards, might be different, but like this, I think it might be correct to just do it anyway, even if you have the signs.
Yeah. And no corruption because I keep
Right.
getting owned by all the events, so you know it's all
Naja,
good. Yeah.
the Raiders, the hidden positive effects. um, Babucha seeds, and there's no new deposits. So at that point, I was thinking, oh well, PV4 is the weakest. Maybe it doesn't push. Maybe I can still get the coal out before the new deposits are revealed. The historic territory is revealed, which is won by you, by a warrior. So I guess that's a fine thing for you to get. But with you getting that 6 culture, I also felt like, oh, now my terrorism might get a lot more playable. So I was now considering if I might put it into the deck at my next turn. Babucha plays the revolutionary idea, goes into the justice system. I think now going from 6 to 7 is a big difference going into H3, so that makes sense. He can increase his population, gets also the navigation down, making him the strongest, and then he takes the Eiffel Tower. He soon maybe can use the happy face, get some culture income going. So turn looks nice. There would have been also railroad or something, but I think the Eiffel Tower is actually not bad here. Actually skips the breakthrough, which is a bit costly. So maybe a navigation or something could have also waited, but I guess it could be an indicator that some more colonies are coming. Then PV4 sadly seeds, and now the new deposits are revealed, which, yeah, I definitely was not happy how those turned out. If I at least would
Me
have gotten 5
neither, my
resources.
friend. Me neither.
Yeah. So if I at least would have gotten 5 resources out of it, I think I already would have been fine with it, as I maybe can use those even more with having taken a while until I can get my upgrades up. But now it's just a lot more value for the opponents, and PV4 can now finish the Silk Road while still being able to go for 2 selective breeding upgrades. So getting his food production going, finishing the Silk Road, also develops the Rifleman already. Interestingly, wouldn't need to do it, but maybe is already afraid of a potential iconoclasm, which, yeah, at the end is actually in the deck. So maybe a good move by him already developing those. Could also, of course, be an indicator towards an arms industry coming. Then it's my turn. I'm the weakest. I think it will actually also remain the weakest, so maybe I could have pushed here anyway, but I felt it might still be a bit close with the terrorism. It might also take a while. There's actually, for some reason, PV4 seeded a very late H1 event, so it will be interesting to see what event that will be. So the terrorism might really take quite a while, and I'm the weakest, and with that I decided to not commit to it yet. Maybe I could just do it, but I decided to wait with that, and then at my turn I finished the ocean liner service using the engineering genius, and then I can get into coal. Using the breakthrough, I get the cannons. I was extremely relieved and happy to see those, because now with the defensive army tactic, at least I should be somewhat safe from the military. And then I also take the urban growth, which means that the age ends before your turn, so no chance for you to get the Machu Picchu down. Just
it's such a tragic story. Like actually being doing so badly and having a Machu Picchu, like yeah, people are gonna use this for years to come against me. All my haters, all of them.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I was gonna
That
ask you,
now we finally see
what do you think
what the
that?
Machu Picchu is
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, no, yeah, yeah. This reminds me of your Taj Mahal. I mean, not that you like the Taj Mahal, so it's all good. But what do you think that the H1 seed is from PV4?
I mean, a scientific breakthrough, of course, would be insane. I think we haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, the question is,
So
shouldn't he have done that earlier? I think.
that's true. He maybe could have already pushed that earlier, so it's indeed an interesting choice. Yeah, I actually also have forgotten it already again what event
Yeah,
it was,
no,
so
I
that's
think
actually
it's
interesting.
relatively obvious when you realize what he did in his turn. He just made like two selective breedings, then he pushed in
Yeah, yeah.
good
I also now
harvest.
remember it. Yeah, it will be the good harvest. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess that makes sense. He kept it in hand, and now he knows that he gets the food income. So,
yeah.
yeah, true. That yeah
Some
will be now useful event.
Yeah, will be useful for me later, actually.
Now, so I was not. I when it will be revealed, I will not to be too happy about it with having the ocean liner, but yeah,
Yeah.
I could have seen it coming maybe. And yeah, so I just get into goal, finish the ocean liner, take cannons and a useful yellow card. So that was somewhat straightforward this turn.
All right.
And then it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm seeding my second seed of the day, prosperity. Yeah, getting some food, I guess. I was one of the two strongest. Iconoclasm is a good hit, so it's also something nice to seed into.
Yeah,
So yeah,
actually, no single H3 cards revealed yet in the on the civil card row, but already Iconoclasm hits. So
yeah,
maybe the
it's
earliest Iconoclasm that you can get.
yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, I was happy that I seeded that, and this also gives me like a little bit better chances because I need the high roll at this point, like very big, right? So I was thinking if I somehow get some nice high roll on Bill Gates when no one else has a leader, that could really make a huge difference.
Yeah, no,
So I
that
think from my position, this iconoclasm has like multiple uses. It's already good for me, but also it's a bit high variance, which is what I need at this point.
yeah, definitely.
Because yeah, basically, I mean, maybe you want to look at the position and at the start of H3.
Yeah, we can maybe after your turn we can maybe compare the positions when you
Yeah,
have gotten your production.
yeah, just take some cards, upgrade some iron. Actually, make an extra iron. I don't know if it was like for corruption or something, but I'm not really sure exactly. But I just thought I need some more production. Now that I don't
Yeah,
have a
at least
Machu
it allows
Picchu.
you to maybe go for the efficient upgrade still. If you would have just upgraded 3 mines,
Yeah, that's
then
also
maybe now you can use the efficient upgrade for certain already at the next turn. Maybe being at 8 resource production is also a way for you to do something in this game.
yeah. And I was kind of thinking that I just need Bill Gates or maybe an oil because I do actually have some science around that I can just go into the early oil and then I can at least do some big production and have maybe something going for me. Yeah, just need the high
No,
roll.
no. And now at the end of your turn, we can now maybe take a look at the overview. And I think for your position, of course, it's still really not looking great or something, but I felt you are definitely a lot more in the game than how it looked some turns ago after the
Yeah, it's
Raiders hit.
great.
So
It's crazy, right? It was like I'm not doing anything for like the whole H2, and somehow it's like not completely unplayable. Like it's unplayable, but it's not completely unplayable.
yeah, I mean, culture-wise, it's quite close between all of the players. Resource production-wise, it's relatively close. Barbucha is, of course, a lot more resource saved up. You have at least 2 free populations, so the immigration from earlier coming in handy maybe at some point. And for science income, PV4, of course, still with the big science income, it's his big advantage. But at least Newton is gone now, so that has the
Yeah.
potential to also hit him quite a bit. I think him losing the Newton definitely maybe opening up the door for all of the opponents potentially to catch up to him if maybe he is a bit unlucky when he gets an H3 leader. And
And a
so now your
government,
position,
yeah, government for
no,
H3.
no, no. And my position, I at this point was not too happy about. I was after I got Nobel and also after I got the Conmon, I felt like okay, maybe I can actually build up something strong, and it's still not bad. I have the most civil actions, I have the ocean liner, but maybe it just went a little bit too slowly. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I still need to at some point do a coal upgrade. I think I just didn't manage to do all of the things quickly enough. I'm also the weakest, so I was also not too convinced about my chances to win this game. But also for me, who knows? Maybe I get computers Bill Gates. Now that the iconoclasm is out, there's always the chance for one of the players to maybe get lucky and get the first good leader or something.
Yeah.
And now, did you have any specific thoughts at this time?
Well, like I said, I was a little bit surprised how poor people were doing compared to me because I was like doing so terrible. And then I look at you and I was like, yeah, I mean, you like your coal production is, yeah, it's like normally it would be already down, and even this food production is a bit annoying for you. So you like have to like
No,
another farm or something. I mean, your military is also not. I was like, how the hell is everyone kind of sucking, except for PV4. But yeah, PV4 also interesting that yeah he made this rifleman, and now he has 14 science instead of maybe having like 20 science and then going into like democracy or something from the top,
no,
right?
that's true.
That's
That removes the possibility from him and it saves him now a civil action. Newton is gone, so
yeah, that is like why. I mean, I'm the only one that would see that. I think like no, I mean, yeah, okay, you people could see it. I think you could see it with Nobel, but it's not that great of a seed for you because you can still use the science. And Barbusha also has a good leader, so yeah, it wasn't very obvious to me that this iconoclasm should be in there. So I don't know if that was so great, but yeah, of course he still has the science. If he gets Bill Gates, he just kind of insta wins, I think. But yeah, it is a little bit closer, and yeah, the everyone losing their leader definitely mixes things up that different people can high roll. But I definitely still think that yeah, PV4 should be able to get into H3 government relatively quickly. He has just a lot of high rolls. Like he can get oil, he can get Bill Gates, he can get the government. There's like so many things that he kind of just has such a strong position right away, and he already has yeah a lot of science, which is just very strong military
yeah,
theory.
yeah.
I mean, so I definitely thought that PV4 was just kind of still running away with the game unless something very good happens to us.
No, and no, maybe if all of the high roles are not there, no Bill Gates, no oil, no government, then maybe with the 6 civil actions, stuff could maybe get a bit awkward for him. So,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, as you said, he has many chances for good things to happen to him, which is generally a way how you want to set yourself up. So, that's still looking good for him. I was actually a bit afraid now after this. I saw this iconoclasm because I think I opened the game and then you always see the leaders, and then I saw no leaders, and I said, "Well, what happened here?" And then the iconoclasm was revealed, and it was, I mean, I think after your turn or something, and I lost the 2 strength from Nobel, and I still haven't
mm,
drawn a single defense card the whole game. So I was really afraid that Babucha might just try a YOLO aggression against me.
that's crazy. There's no way, right? That I
Yeah.
mean, there is a way, but like I mean, you can always be scared, but it's very unlikely. It would be kind of nasty though.
Yeah, I didn't really think it would happen, but I felt just a tiny bit uncomfortable because of that. And but Babucha, as I was hoping, does not play an aggression. He does not have has only 3 military actions, so that would come at a cost, and he has to expect that I have a defense card. So he sees popularization of science is revealed, which gives PV4 by far the most culture. Babucha finishes the Eiffel Tower, so he catches up in cultural production, builds an additional lab, interestingly, which he then has to destroy the religion in order to build an arena. Um, an interesting choice, but I guess more science is good for him, sets him up maybe better for both Bill Gates and Pierre, which maybe he also has to gamble for something like this. So a bit awkward, but I guess also understandable. And he interestingly also takes the scientific method. Maybe just if he gets Bill Gates with the 3 alchemies, who knows, maybe upgrading into scientific method could be worthwhile, or he just wants to take a card to move the game forward. I don't know, but I guess maybe just because of Bill Gates, I guess the scientific method was taken. And then it's PV4's turn, and he does get an early oil here, so no government form, but at this turn he wouldn't have had enough science anyway, and he also took that rich land earlier on, despite already having upgraded his mines and farms, so with that also prepared nicely for the oil, can get one cheap upgrade going, Dispenser Warrior, and then builds a temple to fix his happy faces, and yeah, can continue upgrading the oil, still get into government form, so yeah, sadly one of the high rolls did happen to him now.
Yeah.
But it was also somewhat likely that one of them would happen, so he has just set himself up nicely.
Yeah,
Now
but
it's my
I know it was likely, but he did like he kept getting them every single time. I felt like, I mean, he first he gets the open borders, which I don't know, it's like a high roll, and then he gets like the vast territory, which is probably because of the open borders. Then he top decks the Newton to get a perfect replacement leader. Then he top decks the scientific method, and then he gets this oil, and then it's like, just give me a break, you know? Like, oh man, that's so hard. It's just impossible to play against at this point. You can't beat this. I
Yeah,
mean, of
now
course, he
it's
also
now it's
played he
really
also played
strong.
very well, but he also got just everything going for him.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Not to
He
take
had some
anything
lucky this
away,
game.
but
No.
yeah, it's insane. And then some people give him like open borders, new deposits, and I'm like, maybe they're playing together, you know? I mean, maybe. No, I'm just kidding.
Can maybe file a complaint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah, PV4. Yeah, definitely gets that did get some nice card drops here from the Civil row. Now, at my turn, I am still the weakest, but I also felt like I have good chances to win this terrorism. And if I don't see it now, I don't get it into the next deck. And I just need some good things happening to me. So I think this terrorism I kind of need to go for. I put it into the deck. The arms industry is revealed, so that probably was the reason why PV4 developed the rifleman early on. He gets now the most resource
Right,
out of
right.
it. I sadly don't get any resources, and I can really, really use additional resources. So I was a bit unhappy to see this. But I get something nice at my turn, and I get an early copy of computers. And that gave me a little bit of hope because, yeah, maybe I do somehow get lucky and at the next turn top deck Bill Gates. It's not likely that I get him because if PV4 sees Bill Gates, he will definitely take him. Barbucha might take him with the 3 alchemies. So it's not likely, but it would maybe be a way how I can claw myself, or how my position can somehow compete maybe to win this game. So I think I need to get into those computers. Generally strong to get into computers early H3. So I think that's just what I have to do here. I can go for one upgrade with the urban growth, which leaves me with enough resources to build an additional farm to fix my to fix my famine issues. I then take the wave of nationalism. I just need additional resources, and I might at some point be very deep into my yellow banks. I at least wanted to have the selective breeding in hand for a somewhat cheap solution for my potential famine issues later on. I thought about if I somehow can maybe develop the selective breeding, but it would come at the cost of doing the computer upgrades. So I it was felt a bit awkward taking it while already having committed to a third farm now, but I still felt maybe it could still be helpful to upgrade later on, and then maybe even disband a farm again or something to have more population if I need it. So
Now, the funny
I
thing
took
is,
those
if you would
cards.
actually want to go into the selective breeding, taking this famine would actually maybe not be so bad if you just seeded the terrorism.
Yeah, that could actually that could have been a sign. And yeah, if I would have had a bit more culture, it could have been maybe also an interesting play for me. If I would need maybe the -4 culture to allow the terrorism, I could just seed it
Yeah.
and take some famine. But I felt like I can win
Would
this
I
terrorism.
yeah, I think you didn't have to do it, but it's just a funny thought. But yeah,
No,
also I wanted to say, yeah, actually with the PV4, with the rifleman, that was kind of like a guaranteed arms industry.
yeah, no.
Otherwise,
I
it doesn't
think
make any sense.
just the fear of a potential iconoclasm, I think, wouldn't justify taking the option away of getting an H3 government form drop. So, yeah, I think that was a clear arms industry sign. All right, and then we are at your first, or actually not, the last turn was also already H3, so your second H3 turn.
Yeah, and I draw some impacts. I have like variety colony, and how is the colony right now? It's like 1/1/1. Yeah, so I just decided to seed the colony and
Yeah,
pretty strong. And there's inhabited, which I also actually put something in 10. Oh yeah, I can bid like 2 guys pretty cheap. But do I have the rocks for this or what's going on? I guess I have some rocks. Or oh yeah, because I have the fortification. I just drew the fortification last turn of
okay.
H2.
Yeah,
So I was like, okay, maybe I just make some fortification instead of keeping more knights around. So yeah. Also, my food
yeah, and
situation is a little bit low, but there is now top deck good harvest, so I can also just actually do this move where I just take the mechanized agriculture, just upgrade 1. Definitely don't need to upgrade 2. Then I just have like, and then shooting myself in the foot by having like a million food. There's like no red cross. You're just gonna get corrupted, and like it's just
yeah,
gonna be really
yeah,
bad. Um, but yeah, a nice good harvest moment here in H3 is always cool. And then yeah, urban growth architecture, I guess. Yeah, like upgrading these iron mine just doesn't really do anything at this point. Like takes like 3 turns for them to do anything, and it costs a CA, and then on other and afterwards you only get 1 rock per turn. So it actually just it's just better to take like even like a three CA reserved or something at this point over just upgrading this. Yeah, and I draw international tourism.
okay. So that of course can be interesting. To maybe sneak some additional culture in.
Yeah, and I also thought, yeah, I wanted oil, I wanted computers into Bill Gates, and I saw them both coming off the top earlier already, like computers and oil. And I was like, okay, well, I was really considering if I should resign, just to not influence the game by getting warred by someone at some point, or just, yeah, you know. But I got this international trade agreement, and I didn't want to not give Barbusha the rock.
Yeah,
Yeah, but maybe it's also I don't know. Like it does kind of feel like unplayable. But then I also get the international tourism, and I was like, okay, okay. I mean, okay, we'll still play. We'll still play. But every turn, I was like, should I resign? Just I don't influence the game. But I just one more move, one more move.
no, and I mean, culture-wise, it's still quite close at the moment. So who knows what can happen? And what happens after your turn is that actually quite a bunch of leaders are revealed on the row. Bill Gates, Pierre, Chaplin for Barbucha. Bit of an interesting choice here. Pierre, of course, would be quite strong. But yeah, if he wants to win this game, I think he can't let PV4 have the Bill Gates. Even though, of course, he has already oil mines now, but still, that would, I think, be too strong. So he decides to go for Bill Gates here, maybe hoping that he can go into computers quickly. But even like this, he has now at least a 10 resource income, which is also quite strong. And he also takes the Manhattan Project. So if he indeed gets computers at some point, then the Manhattan Project might be quite strong. So sadly, my Bill Gates hopes are now gone. But
No,
there's
my
Pierre
Bill
coming
Gates
down the
hopes
road,
are gone.
and your Bill Gates hopes as well. So that out is now already gone. But there's Pierre coming down the road. It's not really a big, maybe not big enough of a jump, but maybe could still do something for me. PV4 increases his population a bunch of times, builds the Rifleman, takes the fundamentalism interestingly, is willing to go into that, but it does make him quite threatening because he builds 2 Riflemen, reveals the classic army tactic, is out of the sudden at 28 strength, and it's looking quite dangerous here. So we have that's definitely some strength that needs to be respected, especially because he can declare war, build 2 more Riflemen, and then yeah, it could just be game over. Maybe at this point we all just need to hope that that doesn't happen, or that he will choose someone else as the war target. But at least making yourself maybe a little bit unattractive as a war target might be beneficial.
Which I'm gonna do in a different way.
Yeah, at my turn, I have nothing too interesting to seed. I thought about seeding to push the terrorism out, but I will also get stronger this turn. I have drawn a pact, a military alliance, which I decide to offer to you because if I offer it to you, I will now get stronger than Barbucha, so maybe I can win something like Cold War or something. And I thought about maybe that I don't offer it to you and rather to Barbucha, because maybe my out could now be that I draw a war, because what we will see during my turn is that actually the first copy of Air Force is revealed during my turn, and I have the defensive army, I have cannons, I have waves, so it could definitely be one out for me that at the right time, maybe I can declare a war against you. Maybe then I should offer to Barbucha so that this potential war gets even bigger. But on the other hand, I also kind of didn't want to give this strength to the opponents that are at the moment having a better position. So, and it makes me now, thanks to the additional strength of the pact, I will be stronger than Barbucha after my turn. At least, if I remembered correctly, we can maybe go into the turn. I played a wave of nationalism, go for the cannons, go for an upgrade, reveal a tactic, and I'm at 23. And otherwise, I would be at 20, and Barbucha would win the tiebreakers. So,
Well, you would still be
uh,
at 23, I think, but yeah, Barbusha would be at 23 as well.
yeah, he would then be at 23 if I offer him the pact. It's true, and then he would win the tiebreakers. So I offered this pact to you. And I go for the defensive army tactic using my military actions that I'm having. I also reveal the tactic right now because none of the opponents can really copy it. And also, I still haven't drawn any defense cards, so that revealing it also makes it that I can't get hit by an aggression from PV4. And then I think I kind of have to take the air forces here because declaring a war could potentially be my out, and it makes me safer against potential wars from PV4. And my first instinct was, after I upgrade this coal mine, which is late, maybe I shouldn't do it, but it helps me getting out of corruption, and I just felt like maybe it can still be somewhat worthwhile, but I don't know, maybe I should just upgrade computers, but then maybe my resources are starting to get a bit low, I don't know. But with my last two civil actions, then I thought about taking Pierre, because if I build a bunch of team sports, get the Olympic Games, there could be some potential. But if I don't take the patriotism, I am just a bit vulnerable. And also the patriotism, if I indeed draw war something, could maybe allow me to build up some more military strength offensively. Because if I don't have the patriotism, I'm at 7+3, which is not enough to go for a cannon and an air force. But now with the patriotism, I can build a cannon and an air force, which should make me completely safe from any wars from PV4. You should have better targets, hopefully, now. And who knows, if I draw a war, maybe I can even go for it. And generally, every additional resource could be useful. And I was hoping, as you and PV4 both don't have any arenas, maybe Pierre will just make it to me again. And there's also no internet for some big PR synergy. No, there is actually professional sports in the row, but at least I let Pierre stay on 2 civil actions for you, and you don't really need the professional sports. So I was hoping that I might have a chance to get Pierre the next, and if I don't get him, maybe I have to hope for Sid Meier, maybe, or Churchill if I want to build up a lot of strength. So there are some other options that I can maybe hope for.
Yeah, looks fine.
And finally,
Then,
I draw the first defense card of this game.
beautiful.
And then we are at your turn.
And I offered the international tourism again to you, which, of course, yeah, I'm kind of using the fact that we all want to get first because that just gets the prize. Um, and so I figured that if you compare yourself to PV4, of course, you're very much behind. And so any culture that you can gain against him, you want to take, and then I can just abuse that to get 3 culture from you per turn.
That's true. In a normal game, maybe an exclamation, in a normal game like International Championship, where each position gives different points. I'm not sure if I would have accepted this pact, but here I don't really care if I get a bronze medal or silver medal at the end. I want to win this game and get this nice trophy sent to me. So,
Yes.
and in order to do this, the one culture can still be helpful to somehow catch up to PV4, even though my hopes at this point weren't really that high. But
Yeah.
yeah, in a normal game, I probably would not accept it. It might be too swingy, and I just get too few out of it. But in this particular situation, with the goal basically being to just win the game, I at the end accepted this pact.
Yeah, so it's a kind of a funny game like that because every other game, first and second, is like okay, or that's good. That's extremely different. You just wanna, yeah, yeah, you just wanna get second, and then you can even target number 3 and number 4 even more. But now number 3 and number 4 you don't care about. You just wanna get first.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
my civilization is basically just some H1 stuff duct taped by some uh, pacts. And yeah, I mean, I was also thinking like, I mean, I don't really know how I can ever win this game, but if there is ever any chance that I can get some comeback, I just I just have to greed as much as I can. And
Yeah.
so I just developed a cannon, but I think it's two, or what? Oh, yeah, I can just make one cannon. Oh, two cannons even. Wait, how did I get so much rocks? I get the movies? Wait. Oh, I guess I just, yeah, okay. I can get good. You need to be safe from aggressions, right? Because you can't resign against aggressions.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, at this point, I do this, and so we have to wait till next turn. But I was thinking, yeah, this chaplain into movies. Can give me a +8, and that is of course quite nice. Getting the +3 from the pact is already 11. Then I get also the Roman roads turning to culture now. So suddenly I actually get a lot of culture, and then it's like, okay, who knows? Who knows?
Oh, and there's a Hollywood. If you somehow get additional resource from somewhere, that can even be at the end a good wonder for you. So yeah,
Yeah,
could open up some doors.
yeah,
But military-wise, you are of course somewhat vulnerable to this kind. Yeah, you, as I said, you can be safe from aggressions because those can just be played if there's an opportunity. But at this point, you just need to hope that there is no war because you can't make yourself completely safe.
yeah. I mean, I thought
Okay.
that this at this point someone can war me, and I think I am doing still the worst in the game. And if someone wants to win a war, even by like 10 points or something, I think it's already kind of resignable. So because that's like -15. Uh, yeah. So I was thinking that there's definitely a good chance that I would resign against any reasonable war,
Yeah,
and that people will be scared of that, and especially if they have to give up something that they can just make like a movie or something instead to just get like 4 culture per turn, and then instead they war me and then they get like 7 culture. It doesn't really improve their position.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I was definitely aware that I can get warred at any point, but I didn't feel like people were going to want to, like, for example, where Bushi here could finish the wonder and then war me, but I would just resign. So I don't think he wants to.
yeah, no. So that's definitely at least one advantage that you have when your position is so bad that
Yeah, I'm getting 3 packs. I can just not defend and be fine.
so yeah, that and as you said, with players not being really concerned about player 3 and 4, then it's also not really a benefit. Normally, if opponent resigns, at least you know, okay, well, I have one opponent that I finished before for certain. That's definitely something, but that's also not really something here. So yeah, the power of the threat of resignation is doing some work here potentially. Then Babucha takes a bunch of cards, develops the modern infantry, maybe wants to make a switch into the classic army tactic, or for now actually go for the conquistadors tactic, interestingly, making him the strongest for now. Maybe he wants to set up for a war potentially, PV4 seats, and now my terrorism is revealed. I was happy to see that it isn't delayed any further and that it's revealed relatively early. That's at least giving me some value. PV4 takes the air forces, military theory, upgrades an oil mine, so he yeah, has his military potential will soon be relatively high, and he definitely can't be hit by any wars by any one of us, I think. Don't think any one of us has good enough potential to threaten him in any way. At my turn, I will resolve the terrorism, and I think for you and Babucha, first of all, I will push the impact of government. Sadly, the Cold War is revealed, so I am not part of that, and PV4 and Babucha again some additional science. Then I have to resolve the terrorism. I think for you, it's clear that I have to destroy the organized religion. For Babucha, it's clear that I have to destroy the alchemy with Bill Gates. For PV4, it was a bit interesting because I decided to not destroy one of his labs and instead went for the theology, because at least that causes some immediate issues. And the one thing that I was thinking that maybe could happen is that, who knows, maybe now immediately after my turn, a civil unrest will be revealed, and out of the sudden, PV4 loses 12 culture. And who knows, maybe if he doesn't get any wonder or somehow, maybe there's something possible. So that was maybe one out that I saw, and at least it caused some issues. At his next turn, we will see that in hindsight, my choice didn't really work out that well with what happens at his next turn. And probably maybe destroying a lab could have done more, but he has a lot of science, so I think yeah, I think it just might damage him a bit more when I destroy this theology. As it's something that he has to do something about. And then at my turn, I used the ocean liner. I developed the team sports, and Pierre indeed made it back to me. Babucha could have denied him by taking the oil, but he doesn't really need the oil, so I was hoping that he wouldn't do it. And I get now Pierre. For the moment, he isn't giving me that much culture, but yeah, maybe still the best that they can get is Sid Meier, but the additional civil action would be somewhat painful this turn, paying that. And I also can't that easily upgrade one of my labs this turn. Maybe I can somehow do it, maybe not going for the team sports, but then this little out that I created for myself with PV4 getting hit by the civil unrest would also not really do anything if I also lose some culture. Of course, I have the Forbidden City, but I would have at least one unhappy phase. So I want to build this team sports, and then PR doesn't cost me any science, and with the Olympic Games still should hopefully be quite fine, and I can build some more team sports cheaply. So I elect him. I take the reserves as I need more resources. I take the efficient upgrade to maybe upgrade the second lab still, and I take the satellites. I thought about the endowment instead of those two cards, but I have a potential for decent impact of progress, so I kind of wanted to keep that alive with taking the satellites. General, it can be a nice tech for some impacts. And the efficient upgrade just might allow me to get the second lab upgrade going, which also might be useful for some impact. So those cards in combination just felt worth more to me than the endowment and the reserves as well. So I skipped the endowment here, just get Pierre going. And there are some wonders coming down the road. I was just hoping that somehow maybe I can get either Spaceflight or United Nations, because the Hollywood, the last wonder, I can't really go for. So I was now hoping to get one of those wonders, somehow survive, maybe draw war, and somehow maybe being able to declare it against you if you continue playing it greedily. Maybe I can declare it without too much effort, somehow still get a wonder and get some Olympic Games. That was basically my hope, and maybe then the civil unrest happening. But yeah, I was not having too much hope at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point it's getting interesting because I mean obviously everyone wants to get second or first, but it's also getting a little bit obvious that no one can catch PV4, so maybe then it is also not the worst to just get second and play a little bit more towards it. But yeah, I mean, even if okay, yeah, I mean, I don't have any chance to get first. I don't think anyone really has a chance at this point. I don't really see any outs, even if doesn't get a wonder. Like, yeah, I don't know. He just has everything kind of going. He does have, yeah, he doesn't make a lot of culture, I guess, at the moment, which I mean, he can probably fix soon. But yeah, so at this point, I have like two choices. I can die slowly by trying to defend myself and no not get ward or not get ward as big. But I decided to just go for the giga greedy play and actually just take these movies or develop the movies, put down the movies. And again, because I am making myself so weak, they can only, I mean, you can always make a war and only win it by like a few points, but if they want to make a big war, then I will just resign.
Yeah.
So I just thought that, yeah, I mean, there's no chance if I just wait around and then I just die. Basically, what you were talking about with the iron upgrades, right? It's like a similar position. It's like
No.
I can just go for this safe play and play around rebellion and some strength events, but then I just lose anyway. So I might as well give myself this chance that people are still scared to war me. And then, I mean, I was just theorizing that if I get like a ref idea, maybe then I can get into the tanks, because I do have a, what is it called? Like the two tanks plus cavalry tactic. Mm,
Hussars or
no, two tanks plus cavalry.
two tanks plus
Oh,
cavalry.
sorry, two cannons. I mean, two cannons.
The classic army. I know. No, I'm the
I'm
mechanized army.
confusing you. Mechanized army. Yeah, I do have that
Yeah.
one. So I was thinking I need like 10 science, or yeah, 10 science for that. This would be enough. Actually, yeah, I do have the revolution. Yeah, I have the revolutionary idea in my hand actually. So I can do that, and then I can actually go into some tanks. Of course, now I don't have any rocks, but then yeah, basically now I was thinking I really want to get military build up, and then I
Yeah.
might have some defense. And I thought military build up is not super unlikely. It's not super likely, but that was like I thought if I don't make these movies, I just have no chance to even get third, basically, let alone
Yeah.
second. So yeah, I'm just threatening to resign again.
Yeah. And now I think you definitely have to play towards your outs here. Maybe could have even played it a bit more greedily and grabbed it endowment, but yeah, I mean, chances that one of your opponents has a war is just so
No,
high.
of
So
course, yeah. The problem is that if I enter H4, then I can't resign anymore. So I do need
that's also
a
something. Yeah.
plan to discourage a little bit. And I was thinking that
Yeah.
okay, you can do the what is it called uh the Olympic Games, and then
Yeah.
if I get military buildup, I actually have a pretty decent defense.
No.
Um, and then maybe it's not worth it. Yeah. So then
No.
yeah, to just stretch my
Um,
defense of resigning until H4, then I can actually hopefully defend a little bit.
yeah, that definitely could work out. There are still 2 copies of tanks left, so you might get one of those, and then with the military buildup, out of the sudden you might actually threaten a decent amount of strength.
Yeah.
All right, so Babucha seeds opens the prosperity that was seeded by you, giving some additional food to everyone. He does get the second copy of computers a bit late, but with his Manhattan project, still very much worthwhile to start upgrading those. He increases population, gets out of corruption, takes the military theory, maybe still having some hopes of declaring war the next turn. PV4 seeds and opens the vast territory. Actually bid the swordsman in the one card for it. Yeah, but I didn't really expect to win it. Barbucha is at the end able to win it for a knight and a colonization card. PV4 is going for Marlene, and now sadly destroying the theology didn't really do that much damage to him because now Marlene was revealed and he can just build some operas to fix the happy faces. So now maybe losing the lab and maybe hurting some impacts could be worse. On the other hand, maybe he just doesn't need the science anyway. So yeah, but
Yeah, you
yeah, now
kind of helped him kind of with this
yeah,
spread.
yeah. So sadly, that worked out not quite well, and he skips actually spaceflight in the United Nations, which I was happy to see. So I get a good wonder now. But he is prepared to go for the Hollywood, and even if he does get a wonder, he didn't get hit by any civil unrest or stuff, and is now still quite in the lead with the culture. So even without a wonder, he might still be in a good position to win. At my last turn, after I have taken the satellites, I actually drew the impact of progress, and that has the potential to score me some points. Probably not that much against PV4, but at the moment with the satellites, it's even a bit better against him, but also especially against you and Barbucha. I guess might get the military theory, so it just are some points that I can get, so I put it into the deck. Impact of colonies is revealed. I wasn't too happy to see that one, and then at my turn, I need to somehow get a wonder. I haven't drawn a war yet, so I can't really set up myself to declare war against you. I indeed declared the Olympic Games because I felt like maybe Babucha PV4 could potentially try to war you, and now they're a bit discouraged. And if they get some easy points from warring against you, then yeah, that could end up being bad for me. So I thought it might be nice to play the Olympic Games. Maybe they, for some reason, still go for war and then lose 8 points. And who knows? Maybe I draw still war myself, and who knows? Maybe I am still good enough set up at the next turn to potentially declare it. So I declared Olympic Games now. I take the space flight. I develop the satellites as the impact of progress might be revealed soon. I take the endowment, just grabbing every bit of culture that I can get, upgrade my second computers, which might help me for some impacts and might also help me for some more points for the space flight. I then increase my population one time normally, one time with the ocean liner. I could have increased it first with the ocean liner, then normally, then would be 1 - 1, but I would be out of corruption already. And now I decide to build a cannon. I mean, I'm now one of the 2 strongest. It could even help for an impact of harmony later on, but I have this patriotism that I can maybe at some point use to build a unit with. So But if I now drop down to 1-1 and lose the selective breeding before my next turn, because it's certainly possible that the age ends before my next turn, then it could also soon get really awkward. So I kind of wanted to leave some food saved up, and at least who knows, maybe can pull off an aggression or something. And also I myself am safe now from an aggression from PV4. So I at the end built that cannon, took all of those cards. I hopefully will be able to finish the space flight for a decent amount of points, get the endowment. I've just gotten the Olympic Games. Despite that, I'm still behind in culture, but I have at least the impact of progress in there. So yeah, at this point, with PV4 getting Marlene, not getting hit by civil unrest, I thought, yeah, it's probably no chance for first, but maybe I can still get a second place.
Yes, and I see which one is it? Impact of population actually,
Hmm.
which I do have also a lot of food, like crazy amount of food somehow. With the good harvest and things. But yeah, there is actually the top card is a military buildup. So that was kind of the gamble. And refugees comes out. I already showed the mechanized army, also because I do need the MA next turn to be able
Yeah,
to upgrade everything. And also I can now show that I have a decent defense. Um, and yeah, I have like reserves, military buildup, patriotism. And there are two tanks in the deck, so I mean it's not really that if someone wants to war me, they can just take a tank, and then I can't make it work anymore. So yeah, it's
yeah. Even
hmm?
and even if you don't get the tanks, you could still destroy a lot and build 4 cannons actually, and still get at least 2 more outdated tactics, which also is maybe
Yeah,
at least a little bit of strength that you threaten already like that.
and there's even an air force in there, which also can. I guess that's yeah. Then I can make like two air forces, which is I think the same ish.
Yeah, should be
And
relatively similar.
I don't have to destroy like four. I don't think I can destroy four things. Maybe can I? With yeah, probably with yeah. Then I don't need to take the Air Force thing. Then I don't need to spend any civil action on anything else. So yeah, it's fine, I guess. But yeah, I think if there's Air Forces, then it might be a little bit dependent on where they drop down to. And look, I do need a lot of civil actions for that. So maybe it's just not working. But yeah, I was thinking the tanks is honestly very very likely because if someone wars me, then the other person definitely doesn't want me to lose it by a million points in most
Yeah,
cases. So they won't just take it away the second one if the first one is taken away. So what was the other thing? Oh yeah, this I wanted to mention the pact, right? The pact where someone cannot be targeted by the war. What is it called?
loss of sovereignty.
Yeah, loss of sovereignty. Because I was doing such greedy lines, I also thought that maybe someone that doesn't have a war doesn't want me to get warred by someone else. And then they would just offer me a loss of sovereignty. I lose two culture, they gain two culture, so it's like good for them, and I will just accept it. And then that's also another way that I can get away with these greedy lines.
That's
Uh,
true.
so I was actually expecting a relatively high chance that someone would offer it to me. Barbusha also is not really having the biggest, especially now. I actually have a defense. He can't actually really war me. PV4 can war me, but actually doesn't win by that much. And then you also have the Olympic Games going, so it's actually not that great for him. And of course, if the Hollywood comes off the top, then he will grab that. And then actually, I think even if he grabs it, he can still because it doesn't really cost him a lot to go for the war. It's like Air Force, double Air Forces is already like, and there was like, yeah, with the refugees, he gets one population, so he only needs like one more population and the Air Forces, so only like two CA, yeah,
Yeah,
because of the refugees. And of course, he would like to do the military theory as well, but he doesn't need to.
no,
Um, so yeah, but the war is not as big, and then there's also the psychological factor that he's already winning, and especially if he gets the Hollywood, he's like 100% sure that he wins. So then he's like, okay, I don't need to war Peter. I don't need to think about it if there's like any hidden things that he can do or like I miscalculate or it's just like hurting one player when it doesn't. I don't really care, you know. So there's also that factor. So there's like a lot of reasons where I thought I would not get ward, but I did need to take all of this stuff to not get ward, and yeah, and I do have like a pretty similar culture. The one thing I was very scared of, which is the impact of progress. I thought if impact of progress is in there, it is probably over, and it's also extremely likely that it is in there because everyone can kind of see it at the end.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was, of course, it can still be in the deck. I can also still draw it. I did have impact of technology. That was the other thing that I was scared about, but I did draw that one. So
yeah.
yeah, this is basically the best I can do.
Yeah, I do think at this point you have put yourself in a position where maybe, you know, especially also with the Olympic Games, that maybe a war can be avoided at this point. I haven't drawn a war, so I'm not sure if I would have tried one. I didn't do even any calculations if maybe my strength potential is not even high enough. But yeah, for me, I didn't have the option at the end, and the others maybe just seemed like to them maybe that it's just not worth it.
I think for Barbusha, he doesn't even have anything to war me with. Um,
No,
but I think PV4 definitely would still win by like 10 or something if he really
no.
wanted to. But then he also loses 8, so he gets like just a few drops, like 7 or something. And then you, I think it was also pretty similar as me. So maybe you could win by, I don't know, by 2 or I don't remember exactly, but I saw that everyone was kind of close to each other. Um, and it didn't really feel worth the effort for everyone
Yeah,
for the most
especially because
part.
I have a space flight to finish.
Yeah.
Alright, so Barbucha offers a peace treaty to PV4, which is accepted. Maybe indicating that he doesn't plan anything aggressive, but maybe also just expecting that Barbusha will not leave himself too vulnerable.
No, I thought this
He
was
will.
actually very interesting because this just makes Barbusha able to greed like Third Computer and the Into Manhattan
Mhm.
Project,
No,
right? So I mean, I thought this for me was just kind of like people were saying, I don't really care, I already win the game, because I think if
no,
it was closer, then there's no way you should accept this, because as you can see, now he does this computer, and otherwise there's zero chance he can do that because he can just get ward very easily.
yeah, that's true. That allows him to go for a bit more of a greedy setup here. Yeah, probably PV4 could just war him. Maybe he doesn't have a war, but even then, just the effects on what Babucha can do or cannot do are oftentimes worth more than just a bit of culture. So, yeah, maybe he just PV4 accepted because, yeah, doesn't really, or maybe he thought is already won anyway, or maybe didn't put too much thought into it, or maybe there are some good reasons to actually accept it here, but maybe Babucha could rush the Manhattan Project, and PV4 doesn't have any defense cards. I don't know. um, but yeah, I guess maybe often in such a situation you rather want to reject it.
Yeah.
And now also the Hollywood comes down the road. Maybe if the Hollywood would land at your civilization or something, I think even then PV4 has good chances. But with the Hollywood falling down, I think now the last dreams are now a thing of the past, and I
Yeah.
think
I
PV
mean,
does know.
if Hollywood doesn't come, then he can always war me, I think. I mean, if maybe he doesn't have a war, it's
Yeah, maybe
possible.
he doesn't have a war. Even then, he has just so many good impacts. He has a
Yeah.
culture lead. But then I think maybe some dreams about a perfect combination of impacts could still be alive at this
Theoretically
point.
possible, the best way, yeah.
But now with the Hollywood, I don't think there's any way back. He goes for the civil service, builds another opera, develops the military theory, is the strongest, is prepared for so many good impacts. At my turn, I don't push. I have a bunch of aggressions, but I can't really use them. I have an impact of culture, which I thought maybe I could put into the next turn, but at this point I didn't want to commit to it yet, because I'm actually the lowest in culture, but there is a chance that I can use it to score some points against Barbucha. I have still an international negotiations in hand. I could just seed it for 2 culture, but the thing is, I know that the impact of progress is in the deck, and I will go for the engineering this turn, so I will improve it by +4. And actually, some other impacts I will also improve by +4, which might be in there, because during my turn I will go for the engineering. I will build 2 arenas, so my impact of happiness is improved by +4, my impact of architecture, my impact of competition, and with building the farm, The impact of balance is at least improved by a little bit, but there are some impacts that could come out, and so I at the end didn't want to push that, but I could also just see it and hope that something is revealed that I don't improve to get 2 additional culture, but I decided against it. We will actually see that there are a bunch of impacts in there that I did improve this turn, so at the end was probably a good choice to maybe not push it here. And I built this farm so that when I lose 2 yellow tokens at the next turn, I am at -2, but I still don't have any famine. And then I just take modern infantry and multimedia. I could also take one of those tags plus the revolutionary idea, but actually I'm a little bit tight with the civil actions at my next turn, and I also deny some more cards from the row, so I just take those 2 cards and I have just enough science to develop them at the next turn for the space flight. I have the endowment. I need to play the reserves, but I also have the patriotism, and when I develop the modern infantry, I can go for 1 upgrade, improving my impact of competition a little bit. So I just try to min-max some of my impacts and how efficient I can play this turn.
Yeah, somehow were you finished or?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Yeah, so somehow I managed to dodge all the wars while playing the greediest amount as possible. Well, okay, I mean, at the end I did take like military buildup and stuff, and I did take the patriotism over endowment, but yeah, with the movies and just being able to get ward a lot of times, but I didn't end up getting ward. Also, I needed like military buildup from the top too, and also I kind of needed like the one turn where there was like a rev idea in the row, and it actually dropped down to 1 CA. That I kind of needed that as well for to threaten the tank. Um, so actually, like a lot of things, yeah, I tried to play towards my out, and they kind of all came out, and I'm still not feeling great because yeah, if you look at the impacts, of course, my impact chart is very bad, and especially the impact of progress, but also some others. But yeah, I was hoping maybe some impact of culture from PV4 or something
No,
could help a bit. But yeah, I was definitely under the impression that I would most often get last here, but I didn't have any. Oh yeah, I have one more thing to see: the impact of harmony. Impact of
harmony in population have some potential at least.
yeah, yeah, impact of population. I already see it before indeed. So yeah, impact of balance comes out. It's same for us, a little bit better for
Yeah.
them. And yeah,
So
just
none of the impacts that would give that I improved by +4, but one that I improved by +2. So if I would have seeded, it just wouldn't maybe have mattered that much, unless the event still gets revealed. Who knows what impact it can have? But the other events, there will be some that I would have improved by +4 in my
yeah.
turn.
No, I like what you did for sure. It was good. And then yeah, just make some temples to also get some yeah. Honestly, temples. If you have the food, I don't know if you ever realized this, but temples are actually very efficient for culture. If you compare it to the movies, it's like 11 rocks. If you don't have architecture, of course. So if you make 4 religions, that costs 12 rocks. Also gives you 4 culture. So making religion late game it always looks a bit sad, but if you actually have the population, it's actually super efficient.
It's true, and sometimes can also be nice for some impacts. In this case, if you just build a bunch of cheap buildings, it also improves your harmony and compared to just building one expensive movie.
Yeah. So in this case, indeed, I have now 6 in everything, so my harmony is now 24 suddenly, and that is of course quite nice. And
And
that is
with the
fine.
democracy, you can even build another temple at the next turn.
Yes, exactly. The beautiful.
And then your harmony is starting to look quite nice. Babucha Seeds, Impact of Happiness is revealed, so that one I would have improved by a +4. At my next
No,
turn,
because
I
you didn't
gain.
seed, I actually improved this one by
Okay, so
plus
you also
6.
gain some points. All right, so I actually could have
You also
gained
have
some
to
points
think about
against
that
you.
one.
That's true. But I was somewhat happy to see this impact because at least I gained +6 against Babucha, +2 against you, so a good impact for me to see. Babucha would also have fixed the happy faces, so against him it was the perfect timing. He also is able to build another lab, upgrades another arena, and then can finish the Manhattan project for actually 20 culture, so already scoring as much as maybe sometimes fast food chains or something. So this Manhattan project working out quite well. There could be impact of strength, which I actually have drawn with my last draw step, so I know that that one is not in there.
It was
PV4
actually
seeds.
not even 6, it was even more, right? Because I would have unhappy phases. Yeah, I would have gotten completely owned if it was happy on my
Okay,
turn. Yeah. Anyway,
so
moving
I could
on.
have really cost you some points when I pushed this into national
Yeah, it
negotiations.
would have been like -10 or something. Actually crazy.
Now the impact of architecture is revealed, so that's quite bad for you and good for Barbucha, who gets the most points out of it. And PV4 at his turn has enough resource to just build another theater, going up to 21 culture income, finishing the Hollywood for 32 culture, destroying a lab, building a mine, which heavily indicates impact of industry and harmony. Of course, we know that the harmony is seeded you. Maybe he has seeded industry and is thinking that it also gives point for the harmony, which both I and you, I think, are quite well prepared to have put it into the deck. My harmony is also already 24. And now at my turn, I have one last interesting choice to make for the politics phase, and it's a bit of a question on against which player do I want to gain some points. Because I have this impact of culture in hand, and I have way less culture than PV4 and you, but I have a bit more than Barbucha, so I could push it, and I could then gain some points against Barbucha. But I would lose points against you, especially because I get, of course, the culture for seeding, but the impact of progress is on top, and then I gain so much points from that that I lose some points from the endowment that I play this turn. So I basically only gain one culture from seeding. Maybe I should still do it because there is the impact of progress coming, so I gained some big points from that impact against you. But there is still the impact of agriculture, which I kind of expected to be in there, which is bad for me. And so I was fearing that the impact of culture could potentially, could make it that I end up last at the end. And I also was
Go for glory.
not, yeah,
If you would be able to choose like 50% 2 or 4 or and 3 or always 3, what would you choose?
probably I should shoot for the glory, but I also
Of
somewhat
course.
did in a sense because I also even considered just canceling the tourism pact, but I
Oh
didn't
my
want
God,
to.
that is actually so grief.
But I didn't want to do something that just hurts my chance against Barbucha. But then I realized that Barbucha sent a bunch of colonization cards already away for the colonies. I have drawn now 2 of them. I think I had knowledge about 4 defense card, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't take a look at if the deck got reshuffled at some point or not, because I think Barbucha actually sent quite a bunch of colonization cards away, but some of them I think were H2. So I felt like there's a chance that an aggression could go through, and if it could go through, then that is actually it's the best outcome that I can have. But I mean, you only need one. It's still probably more likely. I didn't do any big calculations, but it's still probably more likely that you at least have one defense card. And if I don't hit, then I don't get any points. And with the impact of progress, probably have good chance against you. So I think I maybe should have just gone for the impact of culture here, but at the end, made the decision to go for this armed intervention, which you can defend, so I don't get any points from this politics phase. At least I can play the endowment for 6, but that's only a small price to get. I can develop 2 techs. I can play the reserves, finish the space flight for 28 points, play the patriotism, upgrade a swordsman to modern infantry, and then just take some cards from the row. And yeah, so that the turn was relatively clear, but my politics phase was interesting, and we can see what how playing the impact of culture might have impacted the score at the end. And then we are at you last turn.
Yeah, beautiful democracy. I can make plus 13 rocks for my military. So I forgot about this many times that I can just swap out military into a higher unit. But you've actually like told me like 2 times, I think. It was like, oh, you could have done this upgrade on the military at the end. I was like, oh wait, you're right. But so this time I remembered because I'm already weakest, so it doesn't matter for anything else.
Yeah. So some points for the impact of competition, and you managed to build up your harmony towards 28 with also building that mine. So
Yes.
that's also quite nice. And now I took a look at your turn and I saw that you can't get higher than 21 culture income. Because if that would be possible and you could overtake PV4, then of course the impact of culture gets even more tricky to see it. But with that, yeah, maybe I should have just done it. But yeah, we will see how it ends now before the final impacts. PV4 is of course way too much ahead, but it's quite close between us three now. I'm at 163. Babucha's a bit behind, but he gets a strong Bill Gates bonus, so actually he is in the lead, and you are behind, but yeah, it's overall relatively close. Let's see what the final impacts um, will impact the game. There is your impact of population, which is quite fine for me in PV4 as well, but it's still best for you. You gain 6 points against Barbucha, actually overtake him for now in the standings, and also plus 4 points against me, so you're only 3 behind me. There is that impact of agriculture that I was afraid of, making it that Barbucha is now behind, but he still gets the Bill Gates bonus. You at the second place at the moment, but yeah, Barbucha with the Bill Gates bonus still being the actual second place. The impact of industries in there probably seeded by PV4, who built the bronze mine at his last turn, which again gives you a bit of points against Barbucha and me. Then there's the impact of competition, which you improved, but it's still not
Yeah,
a
yeah. I
crazy
was like,
amount
oh
of
yeah,
XP.
yeah. 3 points, 3 points.
And so yeah, +3 for me and Barbucha against you, so we are catching up a bit again. Then it's the impact of progress that I've seen it, and that's of course the one impact that yeah, that you are not allowed to see here.
Yeah.
That so that makes it that Barbucha and I overtake you again. I'm still before Barbucha, not including the Bill Gates bonus, so I actually still need a good impact, and the impact is the impact of harmony. And my harmony is quite decent. I have +24, same as PV4. Barbucha is at +20, so I gained +4 against him. You are getting +28, so you're catching up a bit again. Actually tying Barbucha for now, but now the Bill Gates bonus happens, and unfortunately that is enough for Barbucha to finish the game before me with a 4 points lead.
Nerf Bill
And yeah, but it
Gates.
was quite an exciting finish with those
Yeah, it was.
final
Yeah.
impacts.
Like honestly, I don't know like how this was possible that I was still competitive and like yeah, even just only a few things short. If I yeah, only one more thing, which is like the impact of progress. Uh, if that's somehow not in there, then get suddenly second. It's like it's just mind
Yeah,
blowing. Yeah.
yeah, it's really insane because when we go back to the moment where you got hit by the Raiders, it just looked so much over for you. But yeah, it just shows that a comeback is often still possible. And you made it very, very close. And yeah, but first of all, PV4, of course, managed to win this game, so big congratulations to him. I think he is one of the players who participated in every Australian Open tournament that happened so far, and now he managed to win it, so big congratulations. And yeah, and then quite close between us, Babucha getting the silver medal, so also congratulations to him. I am 4 points behind him, so when I saw this, of course, I immediately thought about what would have happened if I would see this impact of culture, and if I did not forget anything, then I think I would have just gotten +6 against him, +1 basically from seeding because I lose points from endowment, and +5 against him. So I'm before him. You, of course, also would gain some points. You would gain +10
10
against. So yeah.
would have still been last, but only by 2 points.
It's
Yeah.
it's would have gotten insanely close, and I actually would have finished second. So at the end, I made the wrong choice, and I think, yeah, maybe if I would have thought more about it and
Yeah,
the
if you
impact of
look at what the
progress.
impacts were, they were actually very good impacts for me, except for the one that you put in. So I think
No,
seeing this, if you would actually do some calculations, you would probably realize that it's maybe even close to impossible for me to not finish behind you,
no.
even
So
with the
that
five. But yeah,
so my biggest mistakes during this game may be being related to the politics phase, seeding new deposits, and not seeding impact of culture. No, that I think might have been some not so good decisions from me this game. Yeah, and so like this, I am finishing third. At least a bronze medal, but yeah, of course, we all would have liked to win this whole thing. So it's only a small consolidation prize. Um, yeah, but it was quite interesting at the
it
end.
was an interesting game. I mean, it was also very unique that position that I mean, first of all, that you need to get first, and then being doing so badly that you can actually threatened to resign, that I've never been able to use that. Generally, because I've never been in such a bad position. I don't usually get fourth, let alone be in such a bad fourth position. So it was also, yeah, at least there was some unique aspect to it with that, which was enjoyable in the end. So I'm happy I didn't like prematurely resign.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, we are not really that far away from somehow finishing second, which is somehow still is insane when we take a look back. But yeah, just shows that comebacks are possible. You have some advantages when you are the weakest. You get some packs. Players have to be afraid of resignation, and that you can maybe use it to your advantage. So that's maybe one of the takeaways from your game that you had. And yeah, I maybe should be a bit more careful about my politics phase. And it's just a thing with if you are relying on coal, it can be quite strong, but if it's a bit late, then things could or can also get problematic. So that is also maybe one takeaway.
All right. Well, thanks for doing the co-op again.
Yeah, was again quite nice having you.
We went down to 2.5 hours making some progress, but yeah.
Still, we have to. Maybe next time we will make it a bit short again, but yeah, hopefully our thoughts and our talking were at least somewhat interesting for the viewers. Yeah, and we did make it a bit shorter than last time, so there's some progress.
Yep.
All right, then I hope you all found it interesting. And as said, you can see Peter's side with his military cards and so on. He also recorded this on his channel, so you can check that out as well. Generally, you have covered a lot of your World Championship games, which was quite interesting. So if you haven't checked them out yet, you can also do that. And yeah, then thanks again for being a part of this video. And then until next time.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.